I'm Christine Lisi. Aaron Rodgers' uncertain future comments discussed today by the Packers quarterback himself. On the Pat McAfee Show, Rodgers said he didn't feel like he'd said anything he hadn't said before and didn't think there's any reason why he won't be back with the Packers. Team CEO Mark Murphy told the Fifth Quarter podcast yesterday there's no way Aaron isn't going to be on the Packers. Quote, "We're not idiots," end quote. ESPN's Diana Rossini reporting Chiefs running back Le'Veon Bell, receiver Sammy Watkins, and Buccaneers receiver Antonio Brown and safety Antoine Winfield Jr. expected to return from injury for Super Bowl 55. The Chiefs' O-line banged up, and that could be a concern against Tampa's D, says NBC's Sunday Night Football analyst Chris Collinsworth.
This is an already depleted offensive line, and now they're going to have to do all the magic and the Globetrotters and all the things that you're talking about with
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios. That's right.
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
You so. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. It is now officially official after reports over the weekend and then carrying on into yesterday. And Ed Ogeron speaking to T-Bob this morning on Off the Bench. LSU has now made it officially official. Daronte Jones has been announced as LSU's new defensive coordinator. Officially official now. Comes to LSU after spending last season with the Minnesota Vikings. Prior to that, a couple of years with the Dolphins, also a stint with the Bengals. As we discussed on Monday's show, he's coached at every level of football, from being a GA at Lenoir-Rhyne to being a DC at Bowie State, as we learned it is Bowie, not Bowie State, like a Bowie knife. Yeah, right. So we, from Nicholls State to a couple of high school coordinator jobs in Louisiana, all the way up through the ranks. UCLA, Hawaii, 1 year at Wisconsin under Dave Aranda, jumping into the NFL for the last 5 seasons, and now at LSU. Very clearly a guy that was looking to advance and has now his opportunity, so we congratulate him on that. I gave you my full thoughts on the Daronte Jones hire yesterday, but I would like to modify them if I could, because there was one thing that last evening of which I was unaware, and that is that Daronte Jones is a massive whiskey lover. My guy Taylor Calandro sent me a screenshot of Daronte Jones's Instagram account. I mean, this guy doesn't just have, he's not just into it. He's got unicorns. I know this isn't going to mean much to most of you, but if you're watching their top left, that's Old Forester birthday bourbon. That's a gigantic unicorn. I got a bottle this year for the first time in my life. You scroll down, those are all B-Tacs. It's a Four Roses limited edition, and then you got the B-Tacs. He's got Old Rip 10, he's got the Lot B, he's got the William LaRue Weller, George T. Stagg, he's got the Eagle Rare 17, he's got the Mash Bill 2 with Elmer T. Lee. You look over here on this table, this basically looks like my top shelf right there. He has some spectacular taste. He's got varieties of Willet. He's got the E.H. Taylor over. I'm telling you, he's got Midwinter Night's Dram hanging on the back, the Kentucky Owl 11-year rye in the back. I'm telling you, this guy, he's got the Elijah Craig 18. I demand, I don't know who's listening, Derek or Bonnet or whoever's listening. I get it. I'm not guy number one in line for every cool thing coming out of LSU, but I would love to have Daronte Jones on, not to talk about anything other than whiskey. Please. I don't have to talk football at all with him. I just want to talk to the guy about whiskey. I'm so pumped. I'm so excited about this hire now. If you weren't prior, you should be now, because you don't get that kind of stash without knowing people. You know what I mean? This dude knows people, and he has excellent taste as well. So I would like to welcome Daronte Jones to Baton Rouge. That is magnificent. I can't wait to drink with that guy. It's just going to have to be 90 days because I started the Ideal Protein Diet yesterday, and I learned you cannot have any alcohol for the first 90 days. Moose, by the way. Well, Matt Musso's here because there's contact tracing in the building, so Brain's got to do afternoons on Talk 107.3 today. Oh, my God. What am I going to do?
If somebody told me that I couldn't have alcohol for 90 days because of a diet, that'd be the last day of that diet.
I mean,
I would immediately quit that diet.
So here's the thing. The lady, so I've mentioned this for a few weeks. Aesthetic Medicine and 8th Agent Clinics of Louisiana. We're doing the Ideal Protein Diet, AFR Weight Loss Challenge. Group of listeners. We all went last night for the open consult. We learned the diet. Like, that was a gut punch last night. 90 days, no booze. I mean, I sip whiskey every night. Like, I'm not getting drunk, but it's just like my treat. I just pour an ounce of the Glencairn and take it. It's not even that. It's not enough to even do that. It's just sipping it because I enjoy it. You know what she said? She said when her husband told her, when you were pregnant, you loved your kids enough to not drink for 9 months. You can do 90 days. And I went, ugh.
Don't come in here with logic.
Right. Stop it, guy.
Don't make this make sense. Get out of here with your facts.
Whatever that tall guy's name was.
I want booze.
I know. Anyway, welcome to Daronte Jones. Ed Ogeron was on off the bench this morning with T-Bob. Candidly, the audio is not great. I know T-Bob was at home. As I mentioned, there's like contact tracing going on throughout our whole building, so T-Bob was doing his show from home. There's a little bit of an echo on here. But Ogeron talking about Daronte Jones. He does in this clip say it's not done yet, but that was this morning. It is now official. Just keep that in mind.
Obviously, it's not finalized yet, but I feel really good about the process and which is going. And Daronte interviewed yesterday. He did a very good job. Very impressive. Knows the same defense that I'm used to. Same coverages, same fronts. Very sound. Very articulate. I think he'd do a great job of presenting the defense to our team. And he's an up-and-coming star in the coaching ranks.
The up-and-coming star in the coaching ranks part, that is a pretty commonly felt belief. As a matter of fact, Mike Zimmer, when he announced Daronte Jones as his defensive backs coach, Mike Zimmer, according to reporters who cover the Vikings, this is Sean Borman at Sean Borman NFL, said, not surprising Mike Zimmer's comments after hiring Daronte Jones last January, quote, at some point I could see him becoming a head coach, Zim said. So now the Vikings are in search of a new defensive backs coach. But point is, he's highly thought of. We can get into all the particulars of why this is risky. Of course, if you're LSU, you're coming off the worst season in the history of this defense, in school history. And you would have been better served with more of a sure thing. Daronte Jones hasn't been a coordinator since 2009. That was at the Division II level, and offenses have changed a lot since 2009. Let me remind you that 2009 was 2 years prior to LSU Alabama 9-6. We are in a completely different reality. Guy's got a ton of experience, excited to see what he can do, but it's a big risk. There's no question. The other thing that was really interesting is that Ogeron did say that, and of course, Daronte Jones worked for a year with Dave Aranda at Wisconsin. He said that the two spoke.
He was recommended to me by Dave Aranda. And I trust Dave. And called Dave and asked him over the top defensive coordinators in the country. And he and I went down the list. And there were several guys that I called, but they didn't want to leave where they were at. So Daronte was right there where I interviewed him. And it was an opportune time, and I'm glad. If we do get him, I think he's doing an outstanding job for us.
They did, in fact, get him. Ogeron also said that they discussed roles. Daronte Jones will handle the safeties. Corey Raymond will continue coaching the cornerbacks. I do worry about that, candidly. I mean, that didn't work well, splitting up the safeties and the corners with Bill Bush and Corey Raymond. Here's hoping it works better this way. But it is also, I guess, in some ways a good thing that Aranda and Ogeron spoke because, as we've talked about here, I mean, there were some hard feelings there. Ed Ogeron, before this season, said, as I quote, our defense is so much better now than at any point a year ago. That was a shot at Dave Aranda. No way around it. But glad Ed had the humility to call him and say, hey, what do you think about Daronte Jones? And that Aranda was willing to take that call and recommend him. So we will find out more. Daronte Jones spent a year at Nicholls State in 2002 under head coach Darryl Daye. In 45 minutes from right now, or about 50 minutes from right now, Darryl Daye will be with us to start hour 2. So we'll get some perspective from a guy who had Daronte Jones, a young Daronte Jones, on his coaching staff about a decade ago at Nicholls. So we're looking forward to that. Daronte Jones, it is official. He is LSU's new defensive coordinator. We'll talk plenty about that throughout the show. Basketball Tigers are on the road tonight. Wherever there was a get-right spot, you'd want to take on the Aggies. Logan Lee's former Aggie basketball player, contributes, for TexAgs.com. He'll join us next to preview LSU at Texas A&M. Stick around here on AFR.
AFR.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
Hey guys, this is Ryan Terrio with Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge, and you've got to come see us for the New Year's Certified Pre-Owned event. CPO vehicles come with an unlimited mileage warranty, and right now we're offering a 2-month payment credit up to $1,500, as well as 1.99% for 36 months on all eligible models. Check them out at mbobr.com or go see my guys Nick and Hess to take your new year up a gear. See dealer for complete details and exclusions. Qualified customers only. Subject credit approval by NBFS. Must take delivery by March 1st, 2021.
Meet football legend Tom Flores, a.k.a. the Iceman, a.k.a. the first Latino quarterback and head coach ever, a.k.a. why isn't he in the hall yet? Well, Coors Light is going to do something about it.
I'll drink to that.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è.
Call Mr. Electric today for electrical repairs, upgrades, and installations.
$14,000 off MSRP on a new 2020 Ford Expedition XLT. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million-mile powertrain warranty. And with Bayou to You, free delivery right to your door. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
From Cordell Toyota in Opelousas. You can get into a Corolla for $239 a month with only $2,000 down, or choose from our pre-owned selection. So
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, LSU basketball mid a 2-game skid. Right now, trying to get right. See if they can get it on the road in College Station tonight. Logan Lee, TexAgs.com, good enough to join us. Former Aggie Hoopster, good enough to join us here for a couple of minutes, preview the game. Logan, thanks for the time as always, man. How are you?
I'm doing great. How you doing?
Man, I'm doing well. Appreciate the time. Expectation for A&M coming into this season, what was it, and where are they now relative to that expectation?
My expectations were probably a little higher than what the media perceived and just the nation as a whole. I thought they would be in the, as high as 6, 7, 8 in SEC play. Where they are now is nowhere close to playing like that. They can't score the ball. I thought they were going to have a couple more outside shooters. I did think that they were going to have Cassius McNeely this year, but he opted out because of COVID, who is their best three-point shooter. They just don't have any. They don't have enough scoring power. I mean, when you look at the team they're playing tonight in LSU, y'all have 4 starters that are averaging more points than A&M is as a team combined in these losses that they've had. So they just haven't been able to put the ball in the basket and haven't been able to put 40 minutes together as a whole.
You know, Logan, there's a lot of LSU fans right now listening. I know, going, yeah, I've heard that before. I mean, LSU just went to Kentucky, and Kentucky was a team struggling offensively, and they put up 80. So, I mean, what is it that's stymieing this Aggie offense right now?
I think it's a lack of identity. They're older guys. You look at their senior core. They had 3 seniors against Ole Miss playing, and I don't think they scored a point combined. Then you're relying on 2 sophomores and a handful of freshmen to come in and play. And when Buzz is when he has a program, he really relies on the off season to make them cohesive and gel. And when you don't have this off season like they didn't because of COVID, you're working through. You're kind of relying on the non-conference schedule, and then your non-conference schedule only has 6 games in it, and you don't have a lot of time. And I just don't think these guys have had time to figure out their individual roles and where they fit in. They have had so many rotations in just the starting lineup and the way that they're playing offense, the way that they play defense. Sometimes they play some tough man-to-man. Sometimes they do their cover 2. They'll throw it into a 3-quarter court, stall you down, slow you down, not really trying to get a ton of turnovers, but really just trying to get it down to where the shot clock is at 15 before you can really get into a set. Just because they can't score. I mean, they've had trouble getting to against Ole Miss. They had trouble getting to 50 points, and that's the whole thing. They have no rhythm, no identity on offense, and their defense has been struggling. Which if you can't play offense and you're struggling on defense, you're gonna have a hard time winning some games.
Is it fixable this season?
Potentially. I don't think they're going to turn around it by any means and rattle off 8 wins in a row, but I do think that they can get a lot better. I think they can improve on offense, and they're growing each and every game individually. Andre Gordon as the sophomore point guard, he's really coming along. I think he's stepping up in a leadership role. Emmanuel Miller is playing at I would say maybe a second or third team all-conference player. He's just another sophomore. You have Hassan Diarra, who is a freshman point guard, more of a I think everybody was hoping he was more of a true point guard than a scoring point guard, but he's not there yet, and he can be, and he's learning every single game. So yeah, the young guys are definitely learning, and then if the older guys, if those 3 seniors and Marfo in the grad transfer, if they can all even just step it up 5% of what they're doing, they can win some games. I mean, it all just depends on how they continue to grow and how Buzz continues to develop them. They don't have a lot of time to do it, though.
Yeah. Logan Lee's with us, TexAgs.com, former Aggie basketball player. These two teams played to open conference play, and LSU won that game by 23, 77-54. That was a night where Cam Thomas scored a career-high 32. How much different is A&M today than they were when they played to open conference play?
Not much. Not much at all, to be flat honest. I think they're so Jekyll and Hyde, so up and down, that they could have a good night where they shoot the ball well and they come out and have play really intense defense and make it a tough game. But then they could come out and do what they did against LSU the first time. December 29th, I was looking back at it. I didn't realize LSU only scored 7 points in the last 8 minutes of that game. And they still won 77-54. Had LSU continued on the trajectory that they were in the first 10 minutes of the second half, it could have been a 40-point loss. Cam Thomas played amazing. He has been playing amazing, and they're going to have to really come out and focus. No one's really been able to slow him down, but if A&M has any hopes of winning this game, they're going to have to hold him under his average. But it's not just him. I mean, Watford, Javonte Smart, Darius Daye. I mean, LSU has some firepower, and like you said, they're on a 2-game skid, and they're going to have to regroup and come back together as a team themselves. But if A&M can slow them down, I don't know how they're going to do that in regards to what they did in the output of the first game. But it's you just never know with this A&M team right now. They could come out and make some buckets and make it a game, or they could come out and let LSU go on a 20-2 scoring run, which has happened in almost all of their losses, and put the game out of reach early.
I'm not going to ask you to be an odds maker, but Vegas has LSU as a 5-point favorite in this game, which seems like a short line. If A&M is able to make it a game, how does that happen tonight? What's the game plan there for Buzz?
I think it starts on the defensive end for A&M. If they can get some shots and some easy baskets, which they haven't been able to do, and partly because Buzz has been slowing his team down because you can't make it a track meet with this A&M roster and with the way they have struggled. They've struggled scoring. But I think if they can get some stops, no offensive rebounds, and obviously no offensive rebounds isn't going to happen, but if they can limit those offensive rebounds, they've got a fighter's chance to make it an ugly game, to muddy it up, and not allow as many points as LSU wants to score. If LSU goes off and scores 70, 80 points, A&M's going to drastically struggle to stay with this team. But if they can muddy it up, if they can slow it down and limit the second chance points, they'll have a fighter's chance.
Logan Lee, TexAgs.com. Before you go, it's such a weird year, obviously, with COVID. What is the environment like at Reed Arena right now?
Non-existent.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly how many people have been going to games, but there's very few people there. It's tough, to be honest. I would hate to be a player in this time where the season before you had 6, 7, 8,000 people at your game. On the road, you're going and having 10, 12, 15,000 people. You're playing in front of all these fans. And then this year, you're literally playing in front of hundreds, maybe thousands at best. And it's the atmosphere. I think it's the best that they can do right now, and I commend them on that. But it's nowhere near what the seniors have seen in their past 3 years.
Yeah, no doubt everybody's in the same boat. It's just, I mean, as you well know, having played, I mean, in my opinion, there's nothing that can affect. There's no sport where a crowd can impact a game like in college basketball, where you have fans in a frenzy. You're right on the floor. You can influence officials' calls, and it just, I'm just so interested in how that might be swaying games at all this year, really, with the lack completely of an environment being so sterile.
I completely agree. The college basketball, you have the fans have so much say in just a momentum shift and the swing from being down 2 to all of a sudden being up by 7 or vice versa, and it's nowhere comparable to what normal college basketball is like. But at the same time, every time there's a game, I enjoy going back into Reed and watching a basketball game, win, lose, or draw, because it's fun. I love college basketball, and that's what it is. It's just a different type of college basketball this year.
Well, here's hoping we're treated to a good game tonight. Logan Lee, TexAgs.com, former Aggie hoopster. Man, we appreciate a couple of minutes anytime we can get it. All the best to you, man. Happy New Year.
Absolutely, Matt. I appreciate you.
You got it. I guess it's still okay to say Happy New Year. Someone asked that, a couple weeks in. I mean, we're at January 26th. First time I've talked to Logan this year. When's the cutoff? Were you here when we were talking about that before?
I wasn't, but
Maybe
I would
Brain
say
have been so interchangeable lately.
That's true.
So I don't remember who I've had conversations with.
I'd say February 1st.
It's just that's the hard cutoff.
That should be the stop right there.
I guess if it's still if there's still a 1 at the start of the calendar, I mean, it's
in the Groundhog Day, February 2nd.
No. I mean, like the month being January. So I'm agreeing with you. When you hit February, I guess it does. Maybe that could be the cutoff. Well, Happy New Year, Logan. I think maybe it was Terrio. It was like, why you still say Happy New Year? It's February. It's January 13th. It's not the New Year anymore. I mean, it is, but anyway. LSU at A&M tonight, 8 o'clock. It's a late tip. You can hear it on Eagle 98.1. You can watch it on the SEC Network. There's one you just got to get. I mean, there's no way around it. When you look at what's ahead for this basketball team, I mean, you're on a 2-game skid right now. And when you look at what's ahead this weekend, you got Texas Tech, who lost a tough one last night at West Virginia at the Horn. They gave up the go-ahead bucket, second left or whatever it was, and then Texas Tech missed the shot at the Horn. I would have won it. You play Texas Tech, then you're at Bama, then you're home against Florida. Then you get Mississippi State, but that's on the road, and then you're home against Tennessee. So this is the meat grinder, man. I mean, this one you have to get because you're going to be an underdog in the next 3 for sure. Texas Tech, Alabama, Florida, you're an underdog. You might be close, maybe a slight road favorite against Mississippi State. You'll probably be a home dog against Tennessee, and then I think you'll be favored the rest of the way with Auburn, Georgia, Arkansas, and Vanderbilt. But there's just no option. You got to get this one or the whole thing unravels. All right, it's after further review. Glad you're with us here. Love telling you about Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Windows, door siding, Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Give Brandon Holly and the gang a call over at Relief Windows. And you might be saying, well, Matt, but I don't live in Baton Rouge. I live in New Orleans. No worries. Matt, I live in Lafayette. Doesn't matter. I live in Lake Charles. Listening to Beaumont? No biggie. Relief Windows services the entire Gulf South. I mean, they have done apartment complexes in Tallahassee, Florida, and Atlanta, and Memphis, Tennessee. Their second biggest market outside of Baton Rouge is actually Beaumont, Texas, believe it or not. So, point is, if you need windows, doors, or siding, they're the best. It's Relief Windows. Energy-efficient replacement windows, beautiful entry doors, hardy plank vinyl siding. You're about to start seeing those tax refund checks rolling through. Invest in your home. And, if you know that check is coming soon, call Relief Windows now to get on their schedule. Because remember, you never pay $1 until they're done and you're thrilled with the work. That's Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Windows, door siding, ReliefWindows.com. All right, it's after further review. Glad you're with us here. If you're just joining and haven't heard, Daronte Jones, it is official. He is LSU's new defensive coordinator. So 30 minutes from right now, we're going to talk to Daye. Darryl Daye was the former head coach at Nichols, who, when I was texting earlier today, I'll read you the exact text exchange that I had with Coach Daye about coming on the show. I asked him if he could come on, and he said, that's fine. I'll be on the golf course at that time, so I'll be free between birdie putts. Total dude. So I say to him, that sounds like a great way to spend a Tuesday. He says you're better close to 4 p.m. I said, what about straight up 4 p.m.? I said, straight up 4 p.m., producer call you at 4:01. He goes, cool. You can count on your ratings going up then. This guy, he's a guy. Right? And I told him, I texted back, I was like, Coach, I can tell you this much. 2 text messages. I've never met you. 2 text messages. if I had any eligibility left or was near good enough, I'd come play for you. That's a guy.
I want to know what his shot now on the golf course.
Oh, we're gonna find out. I mean, he'll be in the middle of his round when we talk to him.
Right at the turn.
I don't know where he'll be. I don't know what his tee time was, but he'll be on the course. I would love it actually if he is. I would love to conduct this interview while he's playing. If he gives me one of that. Wait, hang on. Put the phone down. And you hear, all right, give me the play-by-play, and then he's talking to us as he's riding in the cart to his shot. All right, 125 out. Little breeze left to right.
You didn't do your golf commentator voice.
He just texted me. I wonder if he's honest to goodness, true story. He just literally as we're talking, he just texted me again. Wow. I got to read through this. Look at this text he just sent me.
Oh,
look at this.
Whoa.
Can you see?
That's what commercial breaks are for there.
Oh my God.
That's a book.
I think he might have copied. I don't know. I got to read through this in the break. I'll figure out what he texted me, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about it. It's AFR. Stick around.
AFR.
Brought to you by Pluckers, Nicholson, Bluebonnet, dine in or carry out. 24 flavors of award-winning jumbo chicken wings, ice-cold draft beer, full-service bars, sports on TV like LSU at Texas A&M. You need a place to watch tonight? Get by either Pluckers location. And remember, every Tuesday, kids eat free. So when the kiddos come home from school, get their homework done. If you need a little bit of an outing, how about you get by either Pluckers location? They are safe. They are socially distanced, so you can make sure you have a safe, enjoyable night out with the family and an affordable night out with the family, because on Tuesdays, kids eat free at both locations. Nicholson, just south of campus, or Bluebonnet right in front of the Mall of Louisiana. Remember, if you don't want to dine in, you want to get your wings to fly, you can get them, of course, at Pluckers. Call ahead. To-go orders are available, and they'll bring your order out to you when you show up. Nicholson, just south of campus, or Bluebonnet right in front of the Mall of Louisiana. Great place before or after the game, or the best spot to watch the game is at Pluckers. Tonight, 8 o'clock, LSU and Texas A&M. Watch it at Pluckers if you don't like our wings. We'll give you the bird.
Happy New Year from Cordell Toyota in Opelousas. You can get into a new Camry for $335 a month with only $2,000 down, or choose from our pre-owned selection. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Cordell Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Have you been arrested for DUI or other traffic violations? Have you made a mistake? We all have. You're not a bad person. Call the law offices of O.C. Brown at 225-343-1111 or connect with us online at ocbrown.com.
Hey guys, this is Ryan Terrio with Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge, and you've got to come see us for the New Year's Certified Pre-Owned event. CPO vehicles come with an unlimited mileage warranty, and right now we're offering a 2-month payment credit up to $1,500, as well as 1.99% for 36 months on all eligible models. Check them out at mbobr.com or go see my guys Nick and Hess to take your new year up a gear. See dealer for complete details and exclusions. Qualified customers only. Subject to credit approval by NBFS. Must take delivery by March 1st. 2021.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
$14,000 off MSRP on a new 2020 Ford Expedition XLT. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty, and with Bayou to You, free delivery right to your door. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
I've never spoken actual words, to Darryl Daye, and I just offered him to be a weekly guest on AFR. And he said anytime. I've never spoken words to him. So for those just joining us, Darryl Daye will be with us in 24 minutes. He's the former Nicholls State head coach who played linebacker at LSU in the early 1980s. But we texted earlier, and he was cracking jokes via text about our ratings going up and how he'll be joining us between birdie putts, et cetera. Well, he just texted me I don't know where he got this, but this is a 1,000-word text. And it's basically the connection between Nicholls and LSU, and talking about Daronte Jones is like Charles Kelly, who's on Alabama's staff, or had been on Alabama's staff, has a connection with Daronte Jones as well, having been on staff together at Nicholls. Mentioned Mickey Joseph, of course, who had been at Nicholls also with Mickey Joseph was the Nicholls quarterback coach from 01 to 03. Daronte Jones was on staff at Nicholls in 02, so Mickey Joseph and Daronte Jones have been on staff together as well. So there's a lot of connectivity there. Mentioned Darryl Daye. Darryl Daye's dad, I didn't know this, Donnie Daye, was the fullback for LSU's national championship team in 1958. So some amazing connectivity there. Carl Dunbar coached under him as well. So it would take me a full show just to sift through all of that and all that connectivity. So maybe we will. But it's after further review. Glad you're with us. We'll go around the SEC in just a quick second. The College Football Playoff Selection Committee has its newest members. Of course, they're term limited, and so they cycle off. If you are not familiar, let's see. The newest members on the committee are Will Shields, Hall of Fame offensive lineman, and Virginia Union Athletics Director Joe Taylor is also now on the committee, along with Kentucky Athletic Director Mitch Barnhart, NC State Athletic Director Boo Corrigan, Texas Athletic Director Chris Del Conte. Cycling off are Oklahoma Athletic Director Joe Castiglione, former coach Ken Hatfield, former USC All-American Ronnie Lott, Georgia Tech Athletic Director Todd Stansbury, and Florida AD Scott Strickland. So 5 new members on the selection committee. 5 cycle off. Gary Bardo will remain the committee chair for a second consecutive season next year in 2021. So those will be the names that you hiss and boo and jeer at for the awful job that they do, trying to sift through an impossible task of choosing the 4 best teams on a completely subjective basis without any objective criteria to base their decision, and basically just trying to keep the moneymakers happy. And we all lose as fans. So good luck to all those people for an impossible task. We do it every day about this time. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products, excellence in imaging solutions. The Ole Miss Rebels.
Lane Kiffin has announced John David Baker hired as passing game coordinator and tight ends coach. Baker spent the last 2 seasons at USC as their tight ends coach. He previously was at North Texas and Abilene Christian. Baker's 29 years old, played quarterback 4 seasons at Abilene Christian.
The Vanderbilt Commodores.
Vandy set to hire Cardinals assistant David Ray as offensive coordinator. Vandy also expected to hire Colorado State offensive coordinator Joey Lynch as quarterbacks coach and passing game coordinator. So Ray is 40 years old. He joins first-year Vanderbilt coach Clark Lee's staff after 2 seasons with the Cardinals as their wide receivers coach. Prior worked 5 seasons for the Green Bay Packers, last coached in college in 2013 at Texas Tech. Lynch, the new passing game coordinator, 37 years old, just one season as Colorado State's offensive coordinator, spent the prior 11 seasons at Ball State.
The Arkansas Razorbacks.
Cody Kennedy, the Southern Miss offensive line coach and running game coordinator, expected to become the new tight ends coach at Arkansas. In 2018, Kennedy was a GA offensive line coach under Sam Pittman at Georgia. Now, former Arkansas tight ends coach John Cooper and the Hogs parted ways this offseason after just 1 year. Now, Kennedy spent the past 2 years as Tulane's offensive line coach, also played 4 years at Southeastern. He was a Lion. Well, he followed Will Hall from Tulane to Southern Miss this offseason, but before he ever coached the game, he's now headed to Arkansas.
The South Carolina Gamecocks.
And Jason Brown and E.J. Jenkins, a quarterback wide receiver duo from St. Francis, an FCS level school in Pennsylvania. They're transferring together from St. Francis to South Carolina after 3.5 years there. Brown led the NEC in passing yards. Jenkins is a big-bodied wide receiver. Get this, 6'8", 235. He's a wide receiver. Brown's a 6'4", 230-pound quarterback. So St. Francis' season was initially postponed until the spring, but now has been canceled entirely. So Brown will join a quarterback room that includes two-game starter Luke Doty and Colton Gauthier, to be determined who wins that starting job. There you have it. That is Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products. Shout out to our guy Trey Beal and our friends at Gulf Coast Office Products, online at gcopnet.com. gcopnet.com for Gulf Coast Office Products. If you need office equipment, Gulf Coast Office Products, they are the best. Check them out. Offices in Baton Rouge, New Orleans, the North Shore, and Lafayette. Gulf Coast Office Products, gcopnet.com, gcopnet.com for Gulf Coast Office Products. Just in, the SEC has announced they will release the 2021 football schedule tomorrow at 1 o'clock Central on the SEC Network. Remember, the schedule was initially put in place for future years, and we knew how it was going to look, right? Well, everything kind of got jumbled this year. So cross-divisionals and rotating cross-divisionals and home and away, and they're going to release the football schedule, the SEC schedule, tomorrow for 2021. My sincere hope, as I'm sure all of you share this, is that whatever schedule they release tomorrow, however it looks, good or bad, whether you think it's beneficiary to your team or not, I just hope that's the schedule they play in the fall of 2021. Because what happened in this hodgepodge of a football season, while I commend everybody who made it happen, the Herculean effort to get through a full schedule amid all of the COVID outbreaks, limited capacity, travel restrictions, fans, no fans, roster limitations, all that they went through to get through a full season was nothing short of remarkable. They basically tied their own hands behind their back and said, go win a fight, and they won the damn fight. I don't ever want to see that again. So we'll see what the schedule looks like tomorrow for the 2021 SEC football season. And, I don't know how much change there's going to be in there. I mean, LSU's rotating cross-divisional is supposed to be Kentucky. So, I mean, I would assume it'll still be Kentucky. Maybe we'll just figure out the order, the dates that the schedule will be. But whatever it looks like tomorrow, here's hoping that that's how it looks in the fall. All right, it's After Further Review. We're brought to you by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Better coverage for less money. Online at lainsurance.net. We'll knock out a quick break. We just went around the SEC. We'll wrap up hour number 1 next. And in 16 minutes from right now, former Nicholls head coach Darryl Daye will be with us. He had Daronte Johnson on his staff back in 2002 on the Bayou. So we'll talk to Darryl Daye, get some perspective on LSU's newest defensive coordinator. That's coming up in about 15 minutes. Stick around. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by the Baton Rouge General Hospital, brgeneral.org, brgeneral.org. As I continue to say, man, the work that the Baton Rouge General has done amid the COVID-19 pandemic and keeping our community safe and moving us forward has been remarkable. If you need coronavirus information, COVID-19 information, go to brgeneral.org. Right there at the top of the page, you'll see the big banner that says COVID-19 and visitation information. You'll get all the info you need right there about antibody testing, about the COVID-19 vaccine, some of the FAQs. It's all there for testing, vaccine, visitor info, brgeneral.org, brgeneral.org. They are still very much in need of blood donations and plasma donations. If you are interested, you can find all that out by going to brgeneral.org. Right on the left side of the homepage, it says, I want to. And then if it's donate, whatever it is, you can find it all right there at brgeneral.org, brgeneral.org. Baton Rouge General Hospital, part of the Mayo Clinic Care Network, advancing medical care in the greater Baton Rouge area, brgeneral.org.
Hey guys, this is Ryan Terrio with Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge, and you've got to come see us for the New Year's Certified Pre-Owned event. CPO vehicles come with an unlimited mileage warranty, and right now we're offering a 2-month payment credit up to $1,500, as well as 1.99% for 36 months on all eligible models. Check them out at mbobr.com or go see my guys Nick and Hess to take your new year up a gear. See dealer for complete details and exclusions. Qualified customers only. Subject to credit approval by NBFS. Must take delivery by March 1st. 2021.
Service Master Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact Service Master Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. Service Master Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
During these challenging times, we know your healthcare needs don't stop. Cancer, accidents, injuries, and heart disease are relentless. So we are relentlessly innovating to keep you safe, both virtually and in person, connecting you with providers remotely, advancing clinical spaces, providing rapid and accurate testing, social distancing, and certified cleaning protocols. We are Auctioner, and we will not slow down. Auctioner Health, innovating healthcare.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana, call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, wrapping up hour number one, Pels Spurs got postponed last night because of the COVID little outbreak there. Neither the Pelicans or the Spurs had the requisite number of players to play the game. Neither had the required 8 players to play. So, thankfully, anyway, the Pelicans didn't get to lose last night. They're 5-10 on the season. Bitterly disappointing because I really thought, if anything, that they would be better defensively with Stan Van Gundy coming aboard. As it is, they're allowing 111 points a game, scoring 108. So they're 22nd in scoring offense, and they're 19th in scoring defense, or points allowed. So, man, I know they're 15 games in, and it's a long way to go, and this is still a young core of players where they're trying to mix in some new veterans and a new head coach, and I'm not going to hit the panic button 15 games in, but it is a really difficult brand of basketball to watch right now with New Orleans, and part of me is a little relieved that game wasn't played. So they're set to play tomorrow at home against the Wizards. We'll wait from the league on when they might reschedule the game against the Spurs. But for the Pels right now at 5-10, did not play last night, set to play tomorrow at home against the Wizards. And listen, if you're looking for shooters, kind of always are. If we go to the Far East, something happened in the Chinese Basketball Association last night. And maybe, just maybe, Griff might have been paying attention. And if he were, it might be a Back to the Future type moment, because our old friend Jimmer Fredette dropped 70 last night for the Shanghai Sharks. Give me a little more, Moose. In the history of the internet, this for me is one of the all-time great usages for parodies in the history of the internet.
It's up there for sure.
The fact that 10 years later, when I see the name Jimmer Fredette, like I just saw that Jimmer scored 70 in a Chinese basketball game, and I thought, awesome, I get to play Teach Me How to Jimmer tomorrow. Like, that was my immediate thought when I saw it on Twitter last night. I was like, great, I get to play Teach Me How to Jimmer. I get to dust off the hits here, the medley of hit, with a bunch of very random Mormon people from Utah walking through the streets of Provo, I would assume it's where they are, with oversized hoodies and haphazardly throwing basketballs around. There's one guy in a Steelers shirt randomly. I don't know why in that video.
There's not even a basketball goal. They're just throwing the ball in the air.
They're just throwing the ball in the air. And lyrically, it's actually really good as far as a parody. I mean, it's Weird Al caliber lyrically. Like, whoever took the time to write this, maybe it's the Mighty Quinn. You know, that's who he says at the beginning, yo, Mighty Quinn, whatever. Like, maybe the Mighty Quinn is the one who wrote this. But whoever did a magnificent job. I mean, Teach Me How to Jimmer. Tell me another parody song that's lasted like this.
That's not Weird Al?
Not Weird Al.
Not Weird Al.
In the internet age, a parody song that dropped, internet age, where you just, call it to mind just like that.
Can't do it.
Paul, you got any? Paul's a noted rap artist over there.
None off the top of my head.
Okay. I don't know, man.
That lady was just dancing with like caulk compound. I'm
not mad at her at all. No. So Jimmer scored 70. He was 18 of 36. 11 of 20, so 50% from the floor. 11 of 22 from 3. 50% from 3. That ain't bad. And he was a perfect 23 of 23 from the free throw line. I mean, you're going to put up a really nice stat line when you make 23 free throws. Practice your free throws, kids. It ain't flashy. I know everybody wants to be on the And One mixtape with the dunks. Practice your free throws. By the way, third time that Jimmer has scored 70 for the Sharks. Third time. Caught you off guard there. It wasn't all this season, though, Moose.
Okay, that would have been really impressive.
He scored 75 back in 2018. Scored 73 in 2017. And then he went to Greece. Now he's back and scored 70. By the way, they lost all 3 games.
Oh, no.
At what point are you Jimmer's teammate? You're like, damn, man, pass the ball. Come on, Jimmer.
Hey.
We're glad you got 70, dude. When we lose 85-70, it ain't too good.
Maybe there's a reason he's not passing the ball if they're still losing when he's scoring 70.
136-129. An overtime loss to the Sushan Blue Whales. I think I said that right.
Sharks and the Blue Whales.
I know.
Like great mascot match.
They're really good mascots in the CBA, the Chinese Basketball Association. They really, I'm not even joking. They really do have good mascots over there. Jimmer, of course, was the 10th overall pick in the 2011 NBA draft. 6 seasons in the NBA: Kings, Raptors, Bulls, Pellies, Knicks, and Suns. He's a shooter. Jimmer ain't forgotten how to shoot now. I mean, J.J. Redick's hanging out still. How good's he? Right? Come on. Let's be real about it.
He's been better.
Let's be real about
He's
this
not
right
dropping
now.
70 on people.
He's also not playing in the CBA. But yes, CBA, the Chinese Basketball Association, the Canadian Basketball Association, and collective bargaining agreement. You really have to specify when you use the acronym CBA. Oh, I made that one.
Jimmer.
Right?
AFR.
Brought to you by Shawbills Tire and Auto Service. ShawBillsTire.com. 18 locations in South Louisiana. Find the location nearest you at ShawBillsTire.com. Newest location is up in Zachary. Remember, no matter what type of service work you haven't done, ask about the Shawbills credit card, because when you use your Shawbills credit card, your first purchase, they'll give you $50 off. So if you buy something that costs less than $50, like if you need an oil change or if you buy windshield wipers, you're basically getting them for free. You just have to pay a $1 service charge. If you want to do a tire rotation, so $89, well, $50 off, get it for $39. They always find ways to get you name brand tires at wholesale prices. They treat you like family, and they've been doing it for more than 50 years, since 1968 when they first opened their doors. I mean, you need a patch in your tire, they'll do it for free just because it's the right thing to do, even if you didn't buy your tires there. Shawbills. We keep you rolling.
Happy New Year from Cordell Toyota in Opelousas. You can get into a Corolla for $239 a month with only $2,000 down, or choose from our pre-owned selection. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Cordell Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
Hey guys, this is Ryan Terrio with Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge, and you've got to come see us for the New Year's Certified Pre-Owned event. CPO vehicles come with an unlimited mileage warranty, and right now we're offering a 2-month payment credit up to $1,500, as well as 1.99% for 36 months on all eligible models. Check them out at mbobr.com or go see my guys Nick and Hess to take your new year up a gear. See dealer for complete details and exclusions. Qualified customers only. Subject credit approval by NBFS. Must take delivery by March 1st, 2021.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Sports wouldn't be the same without the die-hard fans. That's why we're highlighting the fans that do the most. 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge brings you the Citizens Bank Fan of the Week. Check it out at 1045ESPN.com, the Citizens Bank Fan of the Week.
Callahan Injury Lawyer.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi, developing story 2 days after his uncertain future loss comment raised eyebrows. Packers quarterback Aaron Rodgers downplaying what he said after that NFC title game loss. He told the Pat McAfee show today it wasn't anything that he hasn't said before, adding he doesn't think there's a reason he won't be back with the Packers. On yesterday's Fifth Quarter podcast, CEO Mark Murphy said there's no way Aaron isn't going to be on the Packers, quote, "We're not idiots," end quote. ESPN's Diana Rossini reporting that Chiefs running back Le'Veon Bell and receiver Sammy Watkins and Bucs receiver Antonio Brown and safety Antoine Winfield Jr. expected to return from injury for Super Bowl 55. Kansas City will be without injured left tackle Eric Fisher. His absence could greatly impact how the Chiefs' all-world quarterback plays, says ESPN NFL analyst Jeff Saturday.
Patrick Mahomes likes his style, the way he does it, but more importantly, you are allowing the pressure of the pocket to compress. It's not just about getting sacks, it's about getting pressure. You're looking at JPP and Shaq Barrett. They've had 5 sacks, but more importantly, Matt, 21 pressures in 3 games.
Download the DraftKings app and use code CJR to get a free shot at millions of dollars up for grabs this week with your first deposit. Minimum $5 deposit required. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
That's right.
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. I'm Matt.
I appreciate it, bud. Have a good one.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Muso. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Make it a good one. News is official. LSU has announced Daronte Jones as its new defensive coordinator. And as we know, he's got ties to the state of Louisiana, having spent a couple of seasons at the high school level as defensive coordinator and one season as the defensive backs coach at Nichols back in 2002 under then head coach Darryl Daye, who is good enough to join us now on After Further Review. Coach Daye, thanks for the time. How are you?
Life is good, my brother. How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. So you said you'd be joining us between birdie putts. So where are you? Front 9, back 9? How you shooting?
You know, I just finished 18 and out of this great golf course that probably not many people know a lot about. It's called Latour in Matthews, Louisiana, home of Tommy Hudson. And it's a great place. Listen, I got off to the front 9 pretty good. I played through, I was around par, a little bit over. Back 9, the wheels came off. I was much over par, and I got in the car and hit it home.
Usually the back 9 falls apart for me as well, but that's because I've had too many beers by the time I get to the turn, and it's just that feeling where you have a couple and it takes the edge off, makes you a little looser, but then there's the line when you cross it. Now you're sloppy. Like that's pretty much how my rounds go.
Well, it makes you a little looser. You get a little bit more flexibility, and then you start fading the ball. And you start slicing the ball, and the game's over.
Amen to that. Hey, when you heard the news that Daronte Jones is going to be LSU's defensive coordinator, what were your thoughts?
I just sent a little text to him thinking and just telling him we're hoping the best for him. And, being a former LSU Tiger as well as, my family, my father was a former LSU Tiger. And we're just dang excited to have somebody in there that we know and trust, like a lot. So just, excited for him.
It's amazing. It's been, 02 was, almost 20 years ago when he was on your staff at Nichols. Did you know then that he had this type of potential in the coaching profession?
You never do. But, he was a guy that was always very good in communication, with the players, with the coaches. And then, when he came in, too, one thing that when I hired him, really impressed me was his ability to listen. He wasn't a young coach that came in there and tried to say, we ought to do this, we ought to do that, we ought to do this. He actually listened and got close with our defensive coordinator, Daye Thomas, who was a great mentor and teacher. And, the guys that were on the staff, Charlie Kidd, I could go on. But he was a guy that learned to listen and that is a great trait with young coaches nowadays. Is learn to listen. But as he went on through the years and watching him go from place to place, the sky was the limit. Because he spoke well. He was a really good teacher and cared about the kids.
That's obviously something that Ed Ogeron mentioned in an interview earlier today that stood out about Daronte Jones going through the interview process. But it sounds like you've kept in touch as you sent him a text, as you mentioned today. What have been your impressions as you've kind of followed his career through the major college ranks into the NFL, where obviously you spent some time in the NFL as well, as you watched him progress over the last 20 years?
You just, you see him get better each year. You see him get to another place. And it really doesn't surprise you once you get to know Daronte and get to learn, about him and what he's all about. It doesn't surprise you, But, if you present yourself well, speak well, and you got a successful track record, the sky's the limit.
Darryl Day's with us, former Nicholls head coach, former LSU linebacker in the early 80s, spent 35 years in the coaching profession, all the way back as a GA in 1986, which means if you were there from 86 to 88, you would have been a GA during the earthquake game, yes?
Yeah, we were there.
And you would
full form.
Would you remember a young Gordy Rush playing either safety or wide receiver?
I do. I think they found a helmet that night that he could fit into, and he got to play. But I got to crack on my man Gordy. He's a great guy. I think the world of him. But yes, I know Gordy very well.
Gordy,
good football player.
He unfortunately is our boss, and I don't ever like to remind him that he's a good football player. I just like to remind him that he was like a pretty good special teams, like off the bench type guy.
Right.
So. Is one of the questions about Daronte Jones that we've had, because we're all learning, right? I mean, not many people here were aware of Daronte until he kind of popped up on the radar about 5 days ago. How easy or difficult do you think it is for a guy who last coordinated a defense in 2009 at the Division II level, now 12 years later, to step into the SEC and try to do that?
Well, great players make great coaches. There's no doubt about that. So, it's going to be largely hinging on, what he has and what he's, available to do with. But, this guy's been under, coaches all the way back to a guy like Jay Thomas at Nicholls. He has mentored so many young guys, and, he's getting Daronte's learning this old school football, and that's what he really came from. Is the old school football, because let's be honest, it's not old school anymore. It's changed a lot. And just the fact that he's been able to, be successful and go through the process of the game changing, he had to change a lot with it. And then the guy's been at every level, from high school to Canadian football to NFL. The guy's been at every level. And like I said, at the first, he was a guy that knew how to listen, knew how to, and he learned, he just ate it up. And those are the kind of guys that you want as your coordinator. And he's a sharp guy, and he's a character guy, and he's a great communicator.
You mentioned a couple of times that he came from sort of the old school. Ed Ogeron mentioned that as well, that they kind of come from the same mold defensively and same attitude and mindset. Can that work in today's modern game of football, where defenses are stretched and challenged like they've never been before?
Yeah, if you got three that can rush and get there, rush three. If you can't, add another man to the rush. There's your answer nowadays. But they're throwing the ball all over the yard, and it's a fan game. They want to impress the fans, and that's where the game has gone to. And you don't see a lot of the two-back, run the ball, play action, Brett Favre offense anymore. It's all changing.
Do you remember anything about Daronte Jones as a recruiter?
Absolutely. And we didn't have him for very long, but he can go into any home, any white or black, doesn't matter. He's a guy that can be, he'll cover his area. I think he signed 4 or 5 of our guys when we were there. But he's excellent communicator, so that's and I know he'll be able to sell himself, and he's a Louisiana product in sense. He's been down here a lot, so he knows the people, he knows the division of North Louisiana, South Louisiana, and been successful doing it.
Just a couple more for you. Darryl Daye's our guest, former LSU Tiger, former Nicholls head coach who had Daronte Jones on his staff back in 2002 at Nicholls. Do the divvying up of duties, Ed Orgeron has said that Daronte Jones will coach safeties and Corey Raymond will coach corners, and there was sort of this conversation a lot the past couple of years where Bill Bush was coaching safeties and Corey was coaching the corners, and then maybe they didn't like divvying up those responsibilities. How difficult is that, or how much of a challenge is that to divvy up responsibilities in the secondary with coaches by position?
I think it's good if they're able to separate them, and like they have with Corey. He's a proven coach there, and so don't mess up the card. He's working. Our corners have been very productive, over the years, and I know Corey very well, and he's been very productive as a coach. So, and that's probably it helps. Instead of giving them all the secondary with the coordinator, now he doesn't. He's freed up to pay more of attention to what he's got to do with the safeties and being a coordinator. But I think it's a good thing that they separated it up like that.
You plan to make it to Baton Rouge for any games?
Every chance I get. I don't know. We'll see. I took my sabbatical this year. I think I picked the right year. But we always gotta make a game. But I know you're wanting to ask. Can you give me one good story on Daronte? And
Please.
I'll throw you one out if we got time.
Yeah,
for
absolutely.
it. He was going out of town one weekend and he asked me to watch his pet. I assumed it's a dog, and I said, sure, take off. I got it. And I walk into his office. And there's a 8-foot boa, white and yellow.
Oh my God!
Snake. And I ain't scared of snakes, but I'm a little, I ain't put my hands on this big snake. And so I closed the door, and I thought I did, and I went, back to the office. And when I was coming out, our custodian, Owen Babin, the great Owen Babin, came down the hall with a shovel. He's fixing to cut the head off.
Oh.
Daronte's boa, and obviously everybody was screaming up down the hall. I scooped the snake back up, put it back in the back, and I leave him in the office. But Daronte, whether they call him the snake doctor or whatever, I know it's going to lead to a nickname. But there's your one for Daronte.
Wait. Was the snake in a cage or just loose in his office?
It was in the cage, and when he closed it got out, and it was slithering down the hall. And the custodian sees it.
No,
he don't know. He thinks there's some snake out to buy you. So, this guy comes out and he's old Cajun, and he got him a shovel. He's going to kill him a snake. And,
oh my God! I am not a snake. But how did you let this man have a snake in your football office?
Well, he brought it in and had a little blanket over the thing, and nobody knew about it. He was just moving in there, and he didn't have a place to put it. So,
oh my God! Did you know that he's like a super duper whiskey collector?
I heard that somewhere. He likes a little bourbon every now and then, but keeps it in control.
No, I just I'm a collector, and I saw his Instagram page, and he's got like unicorns. I mean, he's like as serious as I am in the thing. Like I was actually gonna invite him. Hey man, let's have a bourbon. But honestly, if he's got snakes around, I'm not interested in that at all, Coach. I don't want no part of a snake anywhere near me, man. I don't do snakes.
He might. I don't know. I hadn't asked him in a while. We always tell the story. I talked to him and hadn't talked to him for a while, and the story always comes up because I had to put the snake back in the cage.
Oh, man.
And I'm having to grab this thing. It's hissing at me. I'm thinking I'm fixing to get bit. But, it didn't. We got it back in the cage, and the snake lived to tell the tale we now heard.
Well, if I'm lucky enough to have Daronte on the show, first question will be about whiskey. And the second question will be about that snake. And then somewhere down the road, maybe we'll talk about football if I get over the shock of an 8-foot snake slithering down a football ops building. Man, I'll tell you this much. If I was on your staff, I would not have been on staff the next day if I saw an 8-foot snake in the building. Coach, it's a pleasure. Darryl Daye, thanks for spending a couple of minutes with us. Hopefully tomorrow. You get back on the links tomorrow?
We're back again out there. I got to get that back 9 in check.
Get that back 9. Hit them straight tomorrow, and we appreciate some time. We'll visit again down the road.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It's Darryl Daye, former LSU Tiger, former Nicholls State head coach who had Daronte Jones on his staff. Dude, I'm glad he threw out that story. I was going to go to break. I wasn't going to ask him for a Daronte Jones story. I thought maybe he'd throw one out when I talked about recruiting, but 8-foot snake? Oh. I ain't about that action, boss. Not me.
I'd have let the dude cut the head off that thing.
Get it. Out. No doubt. Lee Feinswog next.
AFR.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
$14,000 off MSRP on a new 2020 Ford Expedition XLT. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty, and with Bayou to You, free delivery right to your door. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
They are exactly the same.
They're identical. Actually, they're not. House 2 also has antioxidant vitamin C.
Antioxidant? Then we'll take House 2.
Given the choice, why wouldn't you choose the one with antioxidant vitamin C? Choose Vizzy Hard Seltzer.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Hey guys, this is Ryan Terrio with Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge, and you've got to come see us for the New Year's Certified Pre-Owned event. CPO vehicles come with an unlimited mileage warranty, and right now we're offering a 2-month payment credit up to $1,500, as well as 1.99% for 36 months on all eligible models. Check them out at mbobr.com or go see my guys Nick and Hess to take your new year up a gear. See dealer for complete details and exclusions. Qualified customers only. Subject credit approval by NBFS. Must take delivery by March 1st, 2021.
Now.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana, call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Hi, Lee.
Hello, Matt. How are you?
Little shaken, honestly.
Are you?
Well, the guy who was on before you just told us a story about an 8-foot snake crawling through a football operations building. That's got me a little spooked. That and the fact that I'm doing the Ideal Protein Diet, which starts today, and I learned only last night when I was at the consult with our AFR Weight Loss Challenge group that you can drink 0 alcohol for 90 days. So that's going to be really hard for me.
I'll try to go real low key on the beer segment.
No,
then,
do you? Absolutely.
The snake wouldn't have thrown me. I think that's really cool, by the way. You know, that's not. So when those scenes from like Harrison Ford in those movies,
that's me.
Must have just really. Yeah, that's too bad.
I hate it. I cannot do snakes at all.
So the new defensive coordinator has snakes. He's going to take his 13th job in 20 years.
Yeah.
And he hasn't been a defensive coordinator since he was the defensive coordinator at Bowie State.
Bowie.
In 2000 and 2005 to 9.
We learned it's Bowie State.
Very. Now, see, I don't know anything about him except for what I've heard and what I've read. But that's one of those things where I look at it and go, all right, why has he had so many jobs in so many places?
I mean, isn't that
just telling you how my mind.
Isn't that sort of normal, though, Lee? I mean, that's how, that doesn't bother me because the coaching profession is transient by nature. Look at Nick Saban. Before Alabama, he had never been somewhere longer than 4 years in his entire coaching career. It's just, that's how you advance.
Wait. With him, he was the head coach at Michigan State with tremendous success.
But he was
the head coach at LSU with tremendous success, and then he went 2 years to the NFL and knew that it wasn't going to work out.
You're missing. Wait, hang on.
Yeah.
All right, hang on. He was a GA at Kent State for 2 years, and then was the linebackers coach there. He was at Syracuse for 1 year, West Virginia for 2 years, Ohio State for 2 years, Navy for 1 year. Then he was the DC at Michigan State for 4 years. Then went to the Houston Oilers for 2 years. Toledo as a head coach for 1 year. So before he got his first head coaching job, he had been 6. He'd been 7 places before he got his first head coaching job. He was at Toledo for 1 year, then went to the Browns to be their defensive coordinator, was there 3 years, then went to Michigan State, then LSU. So, that's just the nature of this business, man. It is a transient business.
Yeah, but I think we're talking about 2 isolated examples because a lot of coaches have not had that many jobs and popped around that much. But I'm just pointing it out. I wouldn't know this man from anything.
No, I agree, but I just the fact that he's moved a lot doesn't concern me. I mean, it's just that's just how you're just upwardly mobile in this business. I mean, that you move to take better jobs. I mean, Dave Aranda before he got here had been 4 places in 5 years. It's just it's just what you
good
do
for him, and hope that it's a good move for him. Certainly, the weather will be warmer than it is in Minnesota, and he'll have a chance to win more games. And and I assume he was paid well by, or in his case, is it a lateral move going from being a defensive backs coach in the NFL to becoming a coordinator at a top 5 program, top 10 program? I don't know.
I don't think there's any doubt that if you want to be a head coach, you got to be a coordinator first. It's so rare that you go from position coach to head coach. So this is what Ryan Nielsen was going to do with the Saints. He was going to come to LSU to be a coordinator and then move from LSU to be a head coach somewhere. So if you're Daronte Jones and you're 41 years old, and as you mentioned, you've coached how many places has he been that you said? 7 or whatever?
This is his 13th in 20 years.
13 in 20 years.
Including being a grad assistant, but whatever. But he's been at Nichols. I'm just looking at his resume.
Yeah.
He's been a lot of places. He's been high school, college, big colleges, little colleges, NFL teams. Can't say he doesn't have a lot of experience and a lot of things to call on, and he probably knows a lot about snakes.
That's kind of the point, though, right? I mean, it's like he's been at every level and worked his way up now to the point where he's a coordinator, and we'll see if he can do well here. I mean, honestly, Lee,
the one thing the thing in sports is that it's real simple. You call the hit and run. If it works, it was a good call. If it doesn't work, it was a bad call.
See,
You decide to go long.
I disagree
and,
with that.
You go long, and if he catches it, it's a good call. If he doesn't catch it, it's probably not a good call. If you hire a guy and he does well, but you've got to have him for a few years to see how he does, it's a good hire. So the book's out. We'll see.
That's true, but I do think there are situationally things where you can play statistics and if the explanation of why makes sense, then I can live with the result. Like you brought up a hit and run. If after the game the manager explains why he put on the hit and run right there, and I go, okay, that made sense. It made sense why you decided to do that.
Yeah,
then I can live with the result.
No, I'm not talking about the logic. I'm just talking about the result.
No, I know, but you win some, lose some. The thing with this specifically, the only reason that I kind of have pause, because you can spin this either way. I mean, people bring up, well, look, you hired Scott Linehan last year, and he was a former NFL head coach, and he flopped. Well, Joe Brady was a no-name, and he knocked it out the park. So you can spin it either way, but you're right in that it just has to play out. But the thing that I look at with this is I say, man, you're coming off a year where you were 5-5, had the worst defense in the history of the program. If I'm at Ogeron, I'm going, man, next year, if this goes badly again, it's me, who's on the hot seat. So I would want to make sure this was as surefire, airtight as you could possibly be. And this just feels like a little bit of a leap.
Yeah, but, you got to do what you got to do. Hey, do you remember when I was on last Tuesday and I said, I'm looking forward to tomorrow night watching LSU play Alabama? And you were like, no, it's tonight.
Yes, I do remember that, actually.
I think I sent you a note about that, about trying to remember when the last time that an LSU basketball team had been just annihilated like that over a stretch. And the only thing I could think of was the 31-point comeback by Kentucky against LSU in the 90s, which to this day I still say was not the big story. The story was that LSU, which was terrible, and Kentucky, which was great, and LSU got up 31. But, man, so I'm glad I didn't miss that one Tuesday. Alabama was it was nuts. That was absolutely nuts.
And I was glad you texted me because I did talk about that on that Wednesday, because you reminded me of something that I had forgotten, which was that was a really good Kentucky team and a really bad LSU team. So the bigger surprise wasn't Kentucky coming back. It was that LSU had the lead to begin with.
Right. And, we were sitting there going, this is impossible. And then the strangest thing of all was a guy called a meaningless timeout, got in a trap. Kentucky maybe had whittled the lead, maybe let's say to 21 or 22 or something, and it was still a ton of time to go. And LSU had used a timeout, and all of a sudden, the kid, I can't remember his name. He was one of those junior college transfers from Hiwassee, one of the guards, Andre Owens.
Okay.
I would bet anything it was Andre Owens who made this. He called a timeout, and I remember saying out loud, that timeout is going to cost LSU the game. And everybody laughed because LSU was still up by a bunch. And, of course, went on to lose that game. It's a weird thing that sticks in my head all these years later.
Well,
but
the rare occasion that you get something right, Lee, I would assume you would remember that.
Well, there was that too. I did cover him for a while. But the point where I was going with that was that, so we were talking last Tuesday about what a great comeback after being down so much to South Carolina and how they were patient, chipped away, won this game. What a great jumping off point. Then the best team in the league comes in, Alabama, and just decimates LSU. I mean, those 3-pointers were coming in, and I kept saying, is anybody going to go out and cover them? They're going to go out and try to cover a 3-point shooter. So then, 4 or 5 days later at Kentucky on Saturday, same thing. It was like, I know you guys can run, and I know you guys can score. Is anybody going to step out and start covering some 3-pointers? And Texas A&M tonight's terrible. But which is tonight, by the way, Matt, not tomorrow.
It is tonight.
And LSU beat them by 23 here. But I was just saying to myself, these guys just don't. It was the first time. Let me put it a different way. It was the first time that I've watched LSU since Will Wade got there the last 3 games, where I said these guys have a discipline under coach problem. They're either not listening. They're dense. They don't want to do it. There's something. And it's the first time I thought that, because if nothing else, with all the other things, all the peripheral things with him, the kids have always played really hard and have always really, how do I tactfully phrase this, been all over the other team on defense when it mattered. And then the fact that they have no offensive strategy in the half court when there's a set, they don't know what to do. They're just in deep trouble in that situation. This is a big game against a lousy team that LSU has to win.
Yeah, there's no question. And especially, Lee, we talked about it last hour, what you have coming up with Texas Tech, at Bama, Florida, like you're a dog in your next three. You better go get this one tonight on the road against a bad team. One more, and this is sort of an intangible, but do you see, I hate to say it because it's just none of us know, but maybe they just don't have a leader on the floor. Who's the guy? Who's the alpha? Who's the Tremont Waters? Where is that guy?
Well, the best player is a freshman, and he seems pretty unassuming, Cameron Thomas. I don't know his personality, but on the court, he just does what he does. But he's real even-keeled and not up, not down, yelling, screaming. Trenton Watford should be the guy, right? He's the best. He's a guy who should touch the ball every offense. Never should there be an offensive possession where he doesn't touch the ball. And I don't know. I'm not close enough to him and don't know the inner workings. I think that losing Charles Manning to the transfer portal, by the way, anybody hear where he's going, what he's going to do?
I don't know where he's going. Do you know?
No. But I think that he was an important part of their team, coming off the bench, giving them a spark, and was a real in-your-face defensive player. I may be overrating him, but I've always liked his game at the level that it was. Not as a starter, but the guy who really filled the gap for him. So the answer to your question is, maybe there is that. A void in leadership or personality on the team. Geez, they got to be looking in the mirror going, how does somebody just shoot us into oblivion like that? How does Alabama even take 43 three-pointers, so much as make 23 of them?
I don't know. Well, Bruce Pearl's teams do that, right, Lee? I mean, their whole game is just getting up shots from three. And maybe that's sort of the direction Bama's going as well here, but that was an incredible thing to behold. You know what we all needed after we watched that game last Tuesday?
Yes, I do.
Something I can't drink for another 90 days. Beer.
Oh, what is the malted liquor? What gets you drunker quicker? What comes in bottles or in cans? Beer. Can't get enough of it. Beer. How we really love it. Beer. Makes me think I'm a man. Beer. I could kiss and hug it, but I'd rather chug it. Beer. Got my belly out to here. Beer. I could not refuse it. Beer. I could really use it. Beer. Beer. Beer.
Well, Matt, I think of the two big breweries in America right now that are still so-called craft but really big, one is Dogfish Head, does fantastic stuff, but the other is Bell's out of Michigan. And Bell's out of Michigan
isn't Sierra Nevada technically a craft brewer as well?
Yeah, but
they're the biggest. I think they're the biggest, or maybe them, or is Yuengling craft? Does Yuengling count as craft?
No, not at all.
Okay,
but the oldest, I believe, the oldest beer in America, Yuengling.
Yeah, they are.
Bell's out of Michigan is just killing it all the time. Anything you get from Bell's is so good. The one I had last week for this, in my research for you that you can't do for the next 90 days, but I'll take care of you.
Thank you.
Kalamazoo Stout. And I know I come on here, I go, I really like this beer. You really like this. You're really like, I love this beer. This Kalamazoo Stout was so good. It just tasted, it just nailed it. It was like on every respect, it was so good. And the part that I hate on here is they put the calories. So to your point, 221 calories for a Kalamazoo Stout, 6% alcohol. But for the city where it all began, Kalamazoo Stout is one of our most classic recipes. This smooth, full-bodied stout offers a blend of aromas and flavors of dark chocolate and freshly roasted coffee balanced with a significant hop presence. It is so good. I know it's at Calandro's. It may be in other places around. If you can pick up one of these, if you're a stout guy, this is as good as it gets. As good a stout as I've ever had, ever. And I will tell you, it is just, and I only had one. I am so disappointed. I'm on the hunt. I've got to get more.
He is Lee Feinswog. What's on Sports Monday this week?
One, Sheldon Mickles, who's covering Texas A&M tonight. We'll have him on. And waiting to hear, but pretty sure Dawson Odoms, the football coach at Southern.
And you didn't correct me. I said Sports Monday.
Yeah, I don't think I listen to you when you talk. Bye, Matt.
Good point. See you later, Lee. That's Larry Feinstein. This is AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Clegg's Nursery. Buy local, shop local at Clegg's Nursery. 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area. Add a pop of color to the exterior of your home. Those flower beds, the gardens, the potters outside. It's an amazing time to go do that because although we're in January, it's 70 degrees today with a high of 74. It's bonkers. You can actually, I know we're going to have a cold snap still from here, but you can actually plant right now when you live in Louisiana, and the horticulturists at Clegg's Nursery know exactly what to plant this time of year. So get on by any of their 4 locations. And remember, Clegg's is partnered with True Value Hardware Store. So anything you'd find at a True Value Hardware Store, you can also find at Clegg's. So I encourage you to save a trip and to support local businesses. Bypass the big box store and go to Clegg's for floodlights or duct tape or hammers or nails or gas cans or boots. They got it at Clegg's. 4 locations: Seagoneer Airline, LA 16 in Denham, Mid-City on Don Moore, the Garden Center on Greenwell Springs, Clegg's Nursery.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Hey guys, this is Ryan Terrio with Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge, and you've got to come see us for the New Year's Certified Pre-Owned event. CPO vehicles come with an unlimited mileage warranty, and right now we're offering a 2-month payment credit up to $1,500, as well as 1.99% for 36 months on all eligible models. Check them out at mbobr.com or go see my guys Nick and Hess to take your new year up a gear. See dealer for complete details and exclusions. Qualified customers only. Subject credit approval by NBFS. Must take delivery by March 1st, 2021.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
From Corval Toyota in Opelousas. You can get into a new Camry for $335 a month with only $2,000 down, or choose from our pre-owned selection. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Corval Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
You get 20 minutes to call Insurance Network of Louisiana. Better coverage for less money. Let the guys over there shop, the guys and gals shop to see if they can get you better coverage for less money. 293-0450. 293-0450 or lainsurance.net. So yesterday on the show, by the way, Sean Salisbury in 20 minutes. Yesterday on the show, we had a conversation about quarterback options for the Saints moving forward. And the reason we had that conversation is because after the Packers lost the NFC Championship game and Aaron Rodgers was slouching at the podium, or I guess on his Zoom call, and said he was unsure about his future, Florio at Pro Football Talk listed a handful of teams that would be the best option for Rodgers in 2021, and he listed the Saints. So I had to very abruptly put the kibosh on that because there was no way Aaron Rodgers is coming to the Saints because there's no way Green Bay's letting Aaron Rodgers go. But we went through every other possible scenario, and I want to talk about that with Sean Salisbury, of course, played in the league and has analyzed the league for a lot of years, about who might be the best fit in New Orleans post-Drew Brees. So that's in 20 minutes. And what we did find out, though, is that the Packers are, in fact, not outside of their brains and that Aaron Rodgers will be back. Here's Mark Murphy, the CEO of the Green Bay Packers, on the Fifth Quarter Show on WNFL in Green Bay, where he talked about Aaron Rodgers.
I'll say this. There's no way in heck that Aaron is not going to be on the Packers. I mean, he's going to be the MVP of the league. Might have had his best year ever. He's our unquestioned leader, and we're not idiots.
So we're not idiots. You're hearing that all over the place. Right. Aaron Rodgers played that the way he did immediately after a loss, like we talked about yesterday, where the scar is, the wound is open and pulsating. And you put everything into a season, especially a COVID-disrupted season, and it abruptly comes to an end in a home NFC Championship game, your fourth straight loss in the NFC Championship game, and this one you actually had at home and you lose, and you're going, God, what's it going to take? And then your contract situation, which is the Packers can void his deal after next year, so he doesn't have long-term protection. They just drafted his replacement, presumed replacement in Jordan Love, and so you're sitting there going, I get it. I get where Aaron Rodgers was, but you got to sensibly think about it, and clearly, Mark Murphy there saying he ain't going nowhere. But consider this. Rodgers likely is playing hardball and will continue because the Packers have a contractual out after 2021. So Rodgers' cap number in 22, he'll play next year for the Packers, but in the following season, his cap number is $39.8 million. The dead cap hit, meaning if Rodgers is not on the roster in 2022, is $17.2 million, which means if Rodgers plays 21, maybe probably not going to stay at the level he is this year. Would be hard to do that. If you move on, you save $22 million against the cap by not having Rodgers on your roster in 2022. So Rodgers is thinking, I want long-term protection. They're not going to give it to me. Maybe they'll trade me. The Packers aren't trading him. You heard it there. So prepare for a very contentious battle with Aaron Rodgers, the star, and the Green Bay Packers and what's going to transpire. But the Packers have Rodgers under contract. They're going to pay him a ton of money next year. He will be back next season. He might not be happy because he's not going to have any guarantees after next season. So the beat goes on in Green Bay. But Mark Murphy abundantly clear there that Rodgers is going to be back in 2021 in Green Bay. But it's after further review. We're brought to you by the Williamson Eye Center, WilliamsonEYE.com, 924-2020, 924-2020, or WilliamsonEYE.com. That's where you find Dr. Blake Williamson. In 2021, see 2020. If you've ever wanted to live your life without contacts or glasses, there is a way, and the Williamson Eye Center can make it happen no matter what your refractive issue is. Check them out online at WilliamsonEYE.com, WilliamsonEYE.com. Do what Devin White did. Do what Caleb Von Chasson did. Do what Warren Morris and Paul Maneri and me and Jimmy Ott. Do what all of us did. So Dr. Blake Williamson. That's what everybody does. The Williamson Eye Center. WilliamsonEYE.com, 924-2020, 924-2020, or WilliamsonEYE.com. I'm short on time. Real quick, Ed Orgeron was on off the bench earlier today. Daronte Jones is now officially the LSU defensive coordinator. It's final. It's been announced. Don't have terms of the contract yet. But, and we'll revisit some of what Ed Orgeron said this morning in hour 3. But Ed also talked about, can you put number 4, please, the 2021 signing class. We had Shea Dixon on with us yesterday, kind of talked about how LSU is trending toward finishing this class. And Shea mentioned, go transfer portal to get immediate supplementation on this roster. And here's what Ed said about how they'll finish.
Right now we have 2 solid commitments, which we had 22. We have 3 guys out there that I feel like we got a chance to get. And then we have 3 solid transfer linebackers in the portal that I talked to yesterday, and I like all 3 of them. And hopefully we can get one of them.
3 linebackers. I know the audio quality is bad. I apologize for that. There was some audio issues. T-Bob was doing the show from home, so they had some echo. But what he said there is you got 20 signed. You got 2 solid commits, put you at 22. You got 3 spots remaining. So there's still some high school prospects and 3 transfer linebackers they're looking at, and they feel really confident that they're going to get one of them. So LSU could well supplement its linebacker room after losing 2 of your top 3 linebackers this year at that spot, or losing, of course, Jabril Cox there in the middle, looking to supplement in the middle with the transfer portal. So what Shea said yesterday, Ed Ogeron sort of co-signed that the Tigers are looking hard at the transfer portal for a linebacker as we inch towards signing day there on Wednesday in February. All right, after further review, we will knock out our final break here of hour number 2. Come back. Muso will have Tigers in the pros. Sean Salisbury in 14 minutes from right now. Glad you're hanging out on a Tuesday. Stick around.
AFR.
Brought to you by River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. 752-0001, 752-0001, 752-0001. That's our friends at River City's 1 Hour Air. I love sharing with you the great reviews that customers give River City's 1 Hour Air, because it's what I tell you about all the time, but third-party validation sometimes is even more powerful, like this one that came in, which said, Moses was awesome. He was very professional, found and fixed my AC problem in a very timely manner. Next time I have an issue, I'll be asking for him personally. Thanks a lot. That's a Google review that came in from Jonathan Rayborn, and you can go read other reviews like that, and you'll see so many like that because they hire great technicians that are expertly trained, that they want you to be comfortable when their technicians are in their home or in your home. These are people just like you and me. River City's 1 Hour Air. 752-0001, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana, call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Wrapping up hour number 2, Sean Salisbury, 10 minutes. We're going to talk some quarterbacks. Who would be the best fit for the Saints in the future? That's coming up. Might even get a few thoughts on LSU when we have Sean with us. Also, we will preview LSU, Texas A&M, and hoops coming up in hour 3. But right now, Muso has Tigers in the pros.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now. Presented by Kentucky's Best Hemp. Find them online at kysbesthemp.com.
Start in the NBA. Last night's action. The Sixers were on the floor, which means Ben Simmons was out there. 11 points for the former number 1 overall pick.
Did he?
Well, he tried.
Did he?
But he missed.
0
for 1.
By the way,
behind the arc.
Last night I gave out a scone cold lead pipe lock at the end of the show. I gave the Pistons plus 4.5 against the 76ers. How did that game end up, Muse?
Well, I can tell you.
I thought you might have had it in front of you.
Not right in front of me. But it ended up momentarily. 119-104 Detroit.
Oh, so you mean I gave out an underdog as my scone cold lead pipe lock, and that underdog won by 15?
Yes, they did.
Oh, I gave out an underdog as a scone cold lead pipe lock, which won outright by double digits. I'll be darned.
I see the heater still going there, Matt.
Muse, I'm telling you.
And it's even transcended sports now.
I'm telling you. I have noticed a trend. I'm not smart. I don't know anything about the Pistons. Nothing about the Detroit Pistons. And I gave that out last night. I've noticed a trend. If I give you a lock, damn it, play it. I am making people money. I have one tonight, too.
I mean, are you going to do that now, or are you going to wait?
No, at the end with Otter Locks. So do it with Otter Locks.
4 rebounds and 4 assists as well for Ben Simmons to go along with his 11 points in 21 minutes.
Gave him Cleveland last week, Muse. Gave him Cleveland. I don't remember who they were playing, but I saw as I play Cleveland tonight. Oh, it was against the Nets. Outright win in double OT.
Oh, man, that was when, what's his name just went off.
Yeah, what's his name? Don't remember his name. Don't know, don't care.
He was dominant,
Yeah,
though.
not watching. Don't know, don't care.
Nas Reed and the Timberwolves.
I'm just making people money, Muse. That's all I'm doing here.
They lost again, but Nas had a double-double. 11 points and 10 boards for Nas. 24 minutes of play, 2 blocks, 5 of 16 shooting.
Hey, you remember when people said that I was dumb because I said Nas is going to go and be a great NBA player because, you know, there aren't many humans that are 6'10" with soft hands that can handle the ball. And like, oh, you're stupid. Said
Nas went 1 of 6 from 3. I mean, if, you know, maybe teach Ben.
Because giant 6'10" dudes that look like the Predator step back and shoot threes all the time, right? That's just a normal occurrence in humanity.
And to the NFL, finally, where we find Justin Jefferson. Minnesota Vikings wide receiver was on the I Am Athlete podcast with Chad Johnson and Brandon Marshall, 2 former NFL stars in their own right. And Justin Jefferson listed his top 5 wide receivers currently in the NFL. He had DeAndre Hopkins at number 5, DK Metcalf at 4, himself at number 3. and had Devontae Adams and Julio Jones ahead. Only Devontae Adams and Julio Jones ahead of Jets in his rankings. I mean, look.
Just for this season?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, just for this season. Well, I don't know. I mean, he's got Julio Jones up there. Julio didn't have the best of years. They kind of stopped, figuring out how to get the ball to him down there in Atlanta. But he could have easily just come out and ranked himself number one, and nobody would have said anything. But he took the high road. Way to go, Jets. Clear some space on that shelf for that trophy coming your way, sir. That's Tigers in the pros.
Oh, it was Jefferson's receiver rankings.
Yeah.
Oh.
Ranked himself third. Humble guy. I like it. I'd have ranked myself number one, especially if I broke Randy Moss's records as a rookie.
He's in the convo, man.
Yeah.
I mean, kid had 1,400 receiving yards this year. Like, he's in the with Kirk Cousins throwing in the ball.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Kirk Cousins got a $33 million contract, but you know what I mean still. It ain't like he was just catching passes in this wide-open offense where everybody's had great success. And he's on a roster with Adam Thielen. I mean, they got Cooper Kupp. I mean, they got dudes catching balls over there.
Rudolph.
Yeah. All right, let's talk some quarterbacks. Sean Salisbury joins us coming up right after SportsCenter. Stick around.
AFR.
Told you. Started the Ideal Protein Diet. Last night, we were at the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, the AFR Weight Loss Challenge. There is still time to join if you want to join. If you want to make yourself better, if you want to make a commitment to yourself to get in shape, whatever your goal weight, whatever your target weight is, what is your why? We're doing it together. All the AFR listeners that were there last night, we're going to be on a text group together. We're going to do our weigh-ins, and we're going to do it together to get in better shape. I mean, there's people who were there last night that want to get off medicines that they're on. One gentleman said, his why is he's not healthy enough to go play with his grandkids. Whatever your why is, identify and let's do it together. There's still time. You come join us. Ideal Protein Diet at the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. They will walk you through it the entire way, get the motivation you need, identify your why, and reach that target goal. It's at the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. Online, theantiagingclinics.com.
Happy New Year from Corval Toyota in Opelousas. You can get into a new Camry for $335 a month with only $2,000 down, or choose from our pre-owned selection. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Corval Toyota in Opelousas. Happy Town, USA.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
Hey guys, this is Ryan Terrio with Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge, and you've got to come see us for the New Year's Certified Pre-Owned event. CPO vehicles come with an unlimited mileage warranty, and right now we're offering a 2-month payment credit up to $1,500, as well as 1.99% for 36 months on all eligible models. Check them out at mbobr.com or go see my guys Nick and Hess to take your new year up a gear. See dealer for complete details and exclusions. Qualified customers only. Subject credit approval by NBFS. Must take delivery by March 1st, 2021.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact Service Master Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. Service Master Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
$14,000 off MSRP on a new 2020 Ford Expedition XLT. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty, and with Bayou to You, free delivery right to your door. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Callahan Injury Lawyers.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Aaron Rodgers' uncertain future comments discussed today by the Packers quarterback himself. On the Pat McAfee Show, Rodgers said he didn't feel like he'd said anything he hadn't said before and doesn't think there's any reason he won't be back with the Packers. Team CEO Mark Murphy told the Fifth Quarter podcast yesterday there's no way Aaron isn't going to be on the Packers, quote, "We're not idiots," end quote. ESPN's Diana Rossini reporting that Chiefs running back Le'Veon Bell and receivers Sammy Watkins and Buccaneers receiver Antonio Brown and safety Antoine Winfield Jr. expected to return from injury for Super Bowl 55. Chiefs O-line banged up, and that could be a concern against Tampa's D, says NBC's Sunday Night Football analyst Chris Collinsworth.
This is an already depleted offensive line, and now they're going to have to do all the magic and the Globetrotters and all the things that you're talking about with really a watered-down group up front. And does that matter?
Chris Collinsworth on Greeny with Mike Greenberg. Baseball, the Phillies and catcher JT Realmuto agreed on a 5-year, $115 million contract.
Coming up Wednesday, we've talked a ton about the Jets' offseason decisions. But what is the team they share MetLife Stadium with about to do? And is Daniel Jones the answer at quarterback? Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin, 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
That's right.
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
So. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you are driving home with us. LSU at Texas A&M. Hoops tonight, 8 o'clock tip on the SEC Network. You can hear it on our sister station, Eagle 98.1 in the greater Baton Rouge area. We will get you a preview of that game. Will Wade on his coach's show discussed it, previewed it. So we'll get to that around the bottom of this hour. Jimmy Ott later this hour for Otter Locks. What are we betting on tonight? We'll get into all that. And if you have not heard yet, Ed Orgeron does have his new defensive coordinator. Daronte Jones has been hired and officially announced by LSU as the new DC. So plenty of reaction to that throughout the day, which we will continue with. But anytime we can steal a few minutes from Sean Salisbury, we love to do it. Host of the Sean Salisbury Show on Sports Radio 790 there in Houston, Sports Talk 790 there in Houston. He's on Twitter at Sean Unfiltered. He's good enough to join us for a couple of minutes. Sean, Happy New Year, man. Thanks for the time. How are you?
It's great to be on with you. Thank you. I'm doing well.
Thanks, man. Yesterday we delved into a conversation about where the Saints go with life after Drew Brees, and there's all these different options and different tiers, and I thought, hell, let me just get Sean to talk about this. So I'll just throw these out, and you sort of give me your feel on how they might fit in New Orleans. And there's these tiers, and most people seem to be filtering, Sean, toward the inevitability of either a Matt Stafford deal or Jameis Winston. Do you go with the 32-year-old Stafford and make that deal, or do you invest in the 26-year-old Winston maybe on the come?
Well, the initial thought for me is, and I'll try to see it from my vantage point and from Sean Payton and the group's vantage point, is
if you're gonna make a commitment to Jameis Winston, and it could be a short one, just in a 1 year deal like New England did again to. If he's a free agent at the end, if I'm not mistaken, right? It was a 1 year deal.
Yeah,
Is that correct?
he's an unrestricted free agent.
Free, right? So if they decide to give him another 1 year deal or 2 years, depending on what he gets in the market, but let's just assume that the New Orleans Saints want him. I think from mine and Sean Pate's point of view, and I'm not going to speak for him, but I think you've got to find out in your mind, do you trust the protection of the football? This franchise has lived by that. This franchise has got playmaker after playmaker. And the one thing, and you know how I feel about Drew Brees, I think he's got an argument to be a Mount Rushmore guy in NFL history. He's been fantastic. But now as you move on, you say, okay, what have we lived by with him? We've lived by horizontal passing game, mixing in the vertical passing game. The last 2 years hasn't been the same, and this year, obviously, it cost them in the playoffs. What does Jameis have that Drew doesn't? Great vertical passing game. Bingo, there's one. Two is, the question is, who's Jameis Winston? Is Jameis Winston the guy that's going to be a star and throw 35 touchdowns, but is he also going to throw 30 picks? Is he going to throw 28 picks? Because I don't think Sean wants to be that guy. Hit the home run, but then strike out 4 times. And like I said, he's an enormous talent, man. If he came there and is able to say, oh, you know what? I've changed after watching Drew and after watching Sean, and I think that I've learned how to protect the ball. But all we can go by is history. And history is he's a big play home run hitter that's going to throw the ball to the other team. So that's one. But I love his skill set, and I know he's got high football IQ. He's a chance taker, and that's that you would have liked a few of those this year, but they're used to protecting the football. With Matt Stafford, you get a guy who I think is in the NFL since in the last decade or 12 years since he's been in the league, the guy who's been given the least amount of opportunities on his football team to succeed, yet has put up monster numbers. If it was me and I was making the decision, what I know about the two today, Matt Stafford's a better football player in my mind. You get the younger body in Jameis. Both are, like I said, both love football and both compete. I look at Matt Stafford in any number of systems, whether it's here, San Francisco, or a couple other places, Indianapolis. I would stand in line to try and find a way if I could, bamboozle the Detroit Lions into giving him up for something cheap. So I think that's what it comes down to. Who do you trust more? They both can vertically push it because he's got a monster arm just like Jameis. But who is going to put you in the best position to win when things aren't going well? Who will find a way to get you through it if duress hits? And Jameis is a monster player. But if my two right now, I would take Matt Stafford, especially if it didn't cost me like a first rounder and something else. I know one costs, the other doesn't. But I think Matt Stafford's a better football player at this stage, and I'm a Jameis Winston fan.
Sean, are the Saints next year a Super Bowl contender with Matt Stafford as their quarterback?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So are the Colts. So are the 49ers. I mean, you start to now, you go around. I don't think the Texans are if he ended up here and Deshaun got moved on.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously. But there's 3 or 4 teams in this league. Hell, the New England Patriots are right back in the playoff hunt.
Yeah.
If Matt Stafford's the quarterback. So I listen, and I know the quarterback bears the burden of a lot of it, but you look at he had 1,000-yard rusher and Reggie Bush. It was like 1,006 yards.
Great point.
So he's done it with he's had to deal with it, getting his brains beat in, not having great defenses on a continuous basis, constant change at the coaching position. And that's not to say he hasn't had good players. The parts were better than the sum. Matt Stafford's a monster. If the 49ers or the Colts or your Saints can get him, as long as you're not mortgaging something for the future, I think Matt Stafford's well. I think he's got 5 or 6 good years left in him because there is nothing off the fastball right now.
He's only 32. What about the young crop, the crop of young starters, Darnell, Trubisky, that sort of – is there anybody in that young crop of starters that you look and go, I think there's something there where that guy could be great in the right place?
Matty, I have talked to a bunch of people about this one particular player, and it has nothing to do with he's from my alma mater because I don't care. I've criticized. You know me. I'm not going to play favorites because the guy went to my school in Darnell, and I criticized him when he was there. I've also complimented him, but I've talked to about 6 or 7 people that I respect, that I think are in the know in the business, that study the position, that study football, and that have played it and or coached it and or been involved in front offices. And I can tell you this. every single one of them, to a person, thinks that Sam Darnold's a superstar with the proper coaching and on the right team. And he was not coached well in New York. Adam Gase even admitted, he goes, he can't get him to another level, or basically that he couldn't. He's trying to get out, and he hasn't coached in the way he wanted to get him to a certain point. You're telling me if you said, for instance, Sam Darnold to the Saints for like a second-round pick, I would think that the Saints, and Sam has propensity to throw the ball the other team too, not as rapid as some others, and he'd have to protect it more, but his arm skill, his ability to move, his ability to throw off schedule and from the pocket, and he's a really good football player. I think you give Sean Payton Sam Darnold, I think you're going to find that they're still, along with Tampa, going to be battling for that division. They're a playoff team, and with the right, talk to me in about a year, I think that Sean Payton would turn Sam Darnold into a superstar. And until somebody or me see something, the turnovers, but I see deeper into it. I'm seeing the forest through the trees. Sam Darnold, if you could get him, he's going to be a real good football player, unless he ends up somewhere else not good. And because Sam feels the burden of having to throw it to places that really aren't there because he didn't have many players. And when you do that, you start to get into a rut. I've seen it happen. And then all of a sudden you wake up one day and you're like, ooh, this guy with these weapons on this team, I don't have to do it all. I mean, I can get it to Kamara, and I can get Thomas, and I can get – I still think Sam Darnold is going to be a great player in the league if he's on the right team and has the right coach, which he did not have in New York.
I got two more scenarios for you. Sean Salisbury is our guest on Twitter at Sean Unfiltered. And this could be a quick answer, but the veterans, the Cam Newton, the Tyrod Taylor, the Ryan Fitzpatrick, would any of those guys make sense in New Orleans short term?
You guys in my mind in New Orleans are not a let's rebuild and hope that we get by this year till we get a guy. I'd just as soon trade up in the draft. If you were going to go, that route, you couldn't get Darnold. They weren't going to trade him for the Jets, and they're going to stick with him. And Stafford ended up in San Francisco or Indianapolis. I'd just as soon find a way to trade up and go get Zach Wilson and start him as a rookie if Jameis wasn't there, and let's go. I have no problem with that. I am one of those guys that's not under the belief that, you got to sit a guy. Now, if you have the luxury, fine. But these guys are getting paid. They're drafted high. You get them coached right. Get them out there. The chalkboard doesn't move. Got to get them experience. Let's go and test their mental toughness. But as far as those veterans, listen, you're limited on all of them. Tyrod Taylor is going to protect the football. He's a great teammate and guy. I know a guy who coached him in Buffalo, said everybody loved him. But you're not going to break through the ceiling. I think Cam Newton is a guy that excites you if he's at his best. But there's enough evidence to see that I don't think his best is in front of him anymore, even though he can still pose some problems. Fitzpatrick, probably of all of them, those two or three guys you named, can give you some game because he can still throw it. He's been in big games. He's been a starter and a backup and continues to get valuable experience. I don't think any of them make you better than Jameis Winston does today. I just don't. I think there's more upside. If you were sticking with what you got, I would take Jameis Winston over those three guys as a full-time starter. But if I had my choice of all those, but I didn't get Stafford or I couldn't get a Sam Darnold, I'd just as soon find a way to leverage some picks or something to see if there was enough or a way that somebody was crazy enough to let me get up and get Zach Wilson, because I think that Sean Payton would go nuts, just like Kyle Shanahan would having a guy like that. Magical.
All right, last one for you, and that's a beautiful segue. It's almost like you're really good at this. The draft. Sean, I mean, I know you watch as much college football as anybody as well, and you evaluate prospects. Right. So how do you even make sense of it in a year where you don't have a combine? You're not going to have the opportunity to work out prospects in person. How do you commit to a guy and say he's going to be our franchise when you can't even meet him?
Let me tell you something. First of all, my head's going to explode the fact that I can't stand 10 yards apart on a football field and watch a guy throw with my naked eye with a mask on in space, social distancing. That's for another whole conversation. Yeah. Don't get me started on that one about the protocol of you're investing in $1 billion future and you're going to put a lot of money in these guys. And I understand they got a pro day, but guys they want to see. They want to see, put them through their own workout like that. So that's for another day. I get it, but I also know that, man, I think we could stand on the sidelines and put a damn megaphone there and say, hey, run the curl and the flat combination. Let's get him on the edge. I think we could probably get through that. But I personally, you better have some real people who are urgent studiers, meaning on your staff, your pro personnel, your college personnel, to be able to look at tape and evaluate quickly, and then apply that to what you see in the game. So, and like in Trey Lance's case, we got one game this year. The year before, the guy goes 28 touchdowns, no picks, ball didn't hit the ground. So I also think this is one of those years like a Lance. You're saying, well, man, the upside is so friggin' good. We only saw so much of him. Can't get him in a private workout, but I can do that. So I think you'll see more go because there's chance takers. Well, I didn't get to see him, but I saw, and the upside's so good. Let me get him and work with him because I believe all coaches believe they can fix a guy or take him to another level. So the way you do it is you better have a lot of tape. You better have already started opening up and looking, and you better have high football IQ guys that can pick out not just the strengths, but find the flaws in a guy, and then somehow talk to enough people that know enough about him on the practice field, what they are in the meeting room, all those things that are going to matter when you take a guy you're investing and turning your franchise over to. We've got a really good class, and I think we know it starts with Lawrence, but for me it goes Lawrence, Wilson, Fields, Lance in a battle for the 3rd-4 spot, and then after that it's Mac Jones and then on. But we've got 5 good guys probably going in the first round. At the top, we're really good. You better have done your due diligence on your prospects because you're not going to get much of a chance, and we know April and May are going to be here before you know it.
Sean Salisbury, you're the best, man. Thanks so much for a couple of minutes as always.
It's always an honor to be on with you, brother. You keep killing it. Thank you.
Thanks, man. Sean Salisbury, Mornings there on Sports Talk 790 in Houston, former NFL college quarterback. I mean, you know Sean Salisbury is, but he's on Twitter at Sean Unfiltered. He does a tremendous, you can just tell, he does a tremendous job studying the game, in particular offensive football and the quarterback position at both the college and pro level, and he trains quarterbacks as well. So he's very, very, very plugged in to that. When Sean says he's sold, he's got me sold on Matt Stafford. And candidly, I got to break. Let's pick this up when we come back, because also there are Vegas odds out for next year's Super Bowl. You might be surprised where the Saints are. A Drew Brees-less Saints organization. I'll share that with you next. AFR.
AFR.
Need dinner plans tonight? Ichiban is waiting. Essen near Perkins. Right there on the corner. You can't miss it. The giant metal Japanese tree sculpture. When it gets dark, it's backlit, so you can't miss it as it illuminates in the night sky. But that's just the start. When you walk in, you are walking into a dining experience like you're walking out of Baton Rouge and into New York City or Chicago or L.A., where you have the dark, sultry wood, the marble. You step up to the bar. They've got the ice slab that runs the length of the bar, the transparent floor-to-ceiling wine cellar. They've got ice-cold draft beer. Well, they will have the frozen tap going into a frozen glass, and you put that beer on that ice slab that runs the length of the bar so your beer stays as cold from the first sip to the very last. That's Ichiban. We haven't even started talking about the sushi yet. The best sushi and the best hibachi in the Best of 225 awards for a decade straight. That's Ichiban. Essen near Perkins. Dine in or carry out. Just make tonight an Ichiban night.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Hey guys, this is Ryan Terrio with Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge, and you've got to come see us for the New Year's Certified Pre-Owned event. CPO vehicles come with an unlimited mileage warranty, and right now we're offering a 2-month payment credit up to $1,500, as well as 1.99% for 36 months on all eligible models. Check them out at mbobr.com or go see my guys Nick and Hess to take your new year up a gear. See dealer for complete details and exclusions. Qualified customers only. Subject to credit approval by NBFS. Must take delivery by March 1st, 2021.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
I'm glad you're hanging out here in hour number 3. We will preview LSU, Texas A&M, and hoops coming up shortly. Let you hear from Will Wade at his coach's show last night to preview the matchup in College Station. It's a must. It is an absolute must for this basketball team tonight. 8 o'clock tip, by the way. You can hear it on Eagle 98.1. So when we just had Sean Salisbury on the show, and we had the conversation yesterday here, but I wanted to get someone with obviously way more experience, more of a professional background to talk about the things we discussed yesterday. And the impetus for the conversation yesterday was all the Aaron Rodgers stuff where there was speculation that he might be moving on from Green Bay, and we very clearly spelled out why Aaron Rodgers was going to be back in Green Bay, which everyone in Green Bay has now confirmed. But we sort of dovetailed that into a conversation about what possibilities were out there. It's not going to be Deshaun Watson because the Texans are going to either want a franchise quarterback or a pick to select their franchise quarterback. So the Saints don't have the draft capital. That's not going to happen. So everyone's like, hey, give him Michael Thomas and a couple of ones. Your first-round pick is in the late 20s. Why would they want that? They wouldn't. So that's not happening. So you sign Jameis, or you make a deal for Matt Stafford. Those are your two best options. And there's all the other ones we talk about. You could draft somebody, but in a year where you're picking in the 20s and you don't really have much room to move up, and you can't evaluate prospects in person, it's really hard to make that leap of faith. So it basically narrows down to you want 26-year-old Jameis or 32-year-old Stafford. And I said Jameis yesterday, give me the 26-year-old guy, with the ceiling. And Sean basically said there's not a quarterback in the NFL that's done more with less support around him than Stafford. You give him to Sean Payton, and they could make beautiful music. Well, there have been some that have suggested that the Saints play Taysom Hill, who they have under contract next year. It won't go well, essentially tank, and then get your franchise the next year, the draft or however it may work out. And I absolutely recoil whenever I hear that thought, because the Saints are still a contender. Without Drew Brees a year ago, they went 5-0 with Teddy Bridgewater. Without Drew Brees this year, they went 3-1 with Taysom Hill. You've got all pros in Michael Thomas and Alvin Kamara and Cam Jordan and Demario Davis and Ryan Ramczyk and Deontay Harris. Those are all pros that you have on your roster. And that's not even counting C.J. Garner-Johnson and Marshawn Lattimore and, You've invested a couple of first-round picks on the interior of your offensive line with McCoy and Ruiz. Like, you've got talent and depth and young talent in their prime, like with this core where you've paid them, where the window isn't closed on this franchise's opportunity to win in this era. In the Breeze Payton era, it's obviously done, but you still have the structure. You've got the foundation there. I mean, you not only have the foundation, you've built the damn skyscraper. Now you just got to go put the finishes in there. So who's that guy? Is it Jameis? Is it Stafford? Like, you got to make that decision. And this only validates that further. BetMGM has put out their Super Bowl odds for next year, for the 2021 season, the 22 Super Bowl. Leading the way, not surprising, the Kansas City Chiefs. Green Bay, second at plus 900. Then there's 3 teams tied at third. Bucks, Ravens, Bills. Next is the Saints. They're basically giving the Saints the 7th best odds to win the Super Bowl. They don't even know who the quarterback's going to be. That speaks to how much is there on that roster still. So there needs to be no thought of a tear-down rebuild. Like, you've invested so much money in Michael Thomas and Alvin Kamara and Cam Jordan, and you know the deals are coming due on Ryan Ramczyk and Marshawn Lattimore, and you're probably going to pay Marcus Williams a lot this offseason as well. I mean, it's the foundation. The Saints are right now what Denver was after they won the Super Bowl with Peyton. The difference is Denver got to the mountaintop at the end. The Saints fell short. But that core that was there in Denver, that had that awesome defense and a bunch of really good skill guys. Brandon Marshall was there, if you remember, on offense. Like, that core was still there a year later when Peyton was gone. They just had Trevor Siemian and Paxton Lynch as their quarterbacks, and they still went 9-7. Let me say that again slowly. The Denver Broncos went 9-7 with Trevor Siemian and Paxton Lynch as their only quarterbacks. They had the roster still in place. They just didn't have the quarterback. They whiffed. So the Saints are in a very similar situation. You got great bones. I mean, it's there. You just got to get the right trigger man. They can do essentially, this may not be the best comp, but what Tom Brady's done in Tampa this year. Get the right guy pulling the trigger that's going to lead you to that next level. That can stretch a defense vertically, can do the things this year that Drew couldn't. Maybe that's Stafford. Adam Schefter, just a bit ago, actually on Twitter, confirmed what everyone knows, which is that the Lions are moving on, and that there's going to be a ton of interest. So Stafford just a bit ago tweeted, teams are already reaching out to the Detroit Lions to initiate trade talks and figure out what it would take to acquire quarterback Matthew Stafford, per sources. So, Stafford's on the trading block. Detroit's fielding offers. You better believe the Saints have already picked up the phone to see what that's going to cost. Better be on the move. See if they can put together a deal. All right, it's after further review. Glad to have you hanging out with us here. Brought to you by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Still got to talk to, we'll talk some LSU, Texas A&M hoops. Jimmy Ott in about 15 minutes from right now for some Otter Locks. Find out what we're betting on tonight. Nice slate in the NBA and college basketball tonight, including LSU at Texas A&M. And one other bit of news that we obviously should have known is that the Roto World's Twitter account, Roto World's NFL Twitter account, reported just a bit ago, they tweeted just a bit ago, that the Saints are moving on from Jared Cook. That's one source. It's not officially from the Saints, but it is from a blue checkmark NFL site, which essentially is saying what we all know, is that Jared Cook is going to be a cap casualty this year for New Orleans in one of those situations where a guy who never really lived up to his contract. And I don't want to circle this conversation back, half decade, but in some respects it still holds water. Where, look, you moved on from Jimmy Graham, and you brought in Max Unger at a time where you needed a center, and you thought you could replace Jimmy Graham's production at a spot that was so important for this offense with Drew Brees. And you went through Kobe Fleener, an aging Ben Watson, and now Jared Cook. You've been through 3 tight ends, and you've not been able to hit. You drafted Adam Troutman, and he saw his reps go up as the season went along. His snaps go up. And my guess is he's going to be that guy next year. They're not going to go get another one in free agency. They're going to see if Troutman can be that guy. And here's hoping he can be, along the lines of what Jimmy Graham was. A 3rd-round pick that found his sea legs in year 1 and then exploded in years 2, 3, and 4, where he became an all-pro caliber tight end. Here's hoping Troutman can be that, but the mere formality of Jared Cook being let loose appears inevitable. All right, it's after further review. Glad you're with us. Quick break. We'll preview LSU, Texas A&M in hoops when we come back. Tigers got to get this one. Stick around. It's AFR.
AFR.
Tuesday shows brought to you by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Tell you every single day. Call Insurance Network of Louisiana. Let them shop independently for free to see if they can get you better coverage for less money. When I say free, I mean literally free. The way this works, and I had no idea, because I did what many people do. I had State Farm whenever I first started driving under my parents' insurance. When I paid my own insurance, then I just carried the insurance that I had. And even as a married man with a child, I had state minimum coverage. Had no idea I was so underinsured. And honestly, that made me really mad because I was exposed. Thank God I called Insurance Network of Louisiana. They shopped, quadrupled my coverage, got me adequately covered, got me uninsured motorists, a big umbrella package, all of it, and still saved me $1,600 a year. Let them shop to see if they can save you money on your insurance. Better coverage for less money. 293-0450. 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Service Mastery Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact Service Mastery Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. Service Mastery Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
Hey guys, this is Ryan Terrio with Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge, and you've got to come see us for the New Year's Certified Pre-Owned event. CPO vehicles come with an unlimited mileage warranty, and right now we're offering a 2-month payment credit up to $1,500, as well as 1.99% for 36 months on all eligible models. Check them out at mbobr.com or go see my guys Nick and Hess to take your new year up a gear. See dealer for complete details and exclusions. Qualified customers only. Subject credit approval by NBFS. Must take delivery by March 1st, 2021.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana, call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, just before we came on the air today, LSU made it official, announcing that Daronte Jones is the new defensive coordinator, and now Brooks Cabina of The Advocate is tweeting out the terms of the deal. So a 2-year deal, $1.3 million annually, and he will have a one-time payment of $150,000. So that $150K, sort of a signing bonus, and then he'll make 1.3 in 2021 and 2022. No word here on the buyout, which, you know, for me, that's always the thing that I care most about, as evidence what we just saw with Pelini and we see all over the place, because that's the most important part of the contract. What you pay someone is irrelevant if they're earning it. Nobody in Tuscaloosa ever scoffs and says, man, Nick Saban makes too much money. I mean, just think about that. Nobody in Clemson, South Carolina is going, I can't believe we're paying Brent Venables all that money. I mean, nobody says it. You know when you say it? When Bo Pelini has the 124th ranked defense in America and he's making $2.3 million. That's when you go, what are we paying this guy? Can you get out of it? Did you leave yourself protection? That's the whole point of this. But so just for context, LSU is going to pay Daronte Jones $1 million per year less. $1 million less per year than what they had contractually agreed to with Bo Pelini prior. So a little bit of a cost-saving measure there. Actually, that and the offensive staff as well, when you look at Peets and Mangus combined, is going to be less than what you were paying Linehan and Ensminger combined a year ago. So, they move forward. It's great to have Daronte Jones there. And what this means now is Ed Ogeron can go finish the rest of his staff. When Ed was on OTB earlier this morning with T-Bob, he mentioned that he'll have a linebackers coach and a defensive line coach in the next 2 days. So hopefully by the end of this week, they have the staff finished. They can get through signing day and look towards spring football. As we know, football school, as they call it, is going on right now. It's sort of like walkthroughs on the field. You can't practice. There's no ball. You're just doing walkthroughs out on the field, and you're doing classroom-type work. But that's really the install. That's where you're installing the offense, and now you can install your defense, that your new defensive coordinator is there. So Daronte Jones is the guy. I gave you my full feelings on it yesterday, and you can go back and watch those on the YouTube channel or get the podcast. Our on-demand audio is presented by Brett Golf on at 1045ESPN.com. I love the fact that Daronte Jones has experience at every level of football. I love that he has ties to the state of Louisiana. We had Daye with us earlier today. He was the head coach at Nichols when Daronte Jones was on his staff. Said he's a great recruiter, great communicator, can explain a message well to his players. I love all those things. The thing I don't love is the last time he was a coordinator was 2009. And the offensive world in football is just light years apart from what it was then. I mean, keep in mind, in 2009, you were still 2 years prior to the 9-6 game with LSU Alabama. It's just a different reality, what the game is today. So, guy hasn't called defense. That was at the Division II level where he was calling defense. So, he's been around some great coaches. Mike Zimmer in the NFL, Dave Aranda at Wisconsin. There's no doubt. I mean, he's been around some fantastic coaches at every level of football. But this is a major leap for Ed Ogeron. I will, however, commend Ed Ogeron for going outside of his circle, for going outside of his comfort zone, for taking time to do due diligence, to interview candidates to find the best one. Look, they had an initial list of 6, and they whiffed on all of them. for whatever reason. Some their fault, some Marcus Freeman just picked another school. But it is what it is that you missed on your initial 6. And you had to go beyond that. Here's hoping you landed on a guy that's going to do a really good job for you because it's imperative. You're returning 20 of 22 starters. The schedule, as we've talked about, flips in your favor with Auburn, Texas A&M, Florida, all in Baton Rouge next year. You're rotating cross-divisional as Kentucky. You have a very manageable schedule. You've got a ton of talent back. You got a top 5 class coming in. It's set up for you to have a major bounce-back year. I'm not saying this team's going to win a national championship, but I'm saying this is a team that should be competing for the New Year's 6. 9-3, 10-2. I think that's a realistic expectation where this team should be next year. And if you're not, you got some splaining to do. LSU basketball got some splaining to do after Saturday. They lost to a really bad Kentucky team, y'all. Kentucky's 4-9, and they're not good. An abysmal offensive team. They put up 80 on you. Just bad. But Texas A&M is worse. You beat Texas A&M by 23. They've lost 4 of their last 5 SEC games, all by double digits. We had Logan Lee on with us in hour 1, former Aggie basketball player, now contributor at TexAgs.com, who flatly said this team is just, they can't generate offense. Their whole goal is just hold the ball, slow it down, muddy it up to play a game in the 50s because they can't score 70. So you know what LSU's task is tonight, to run, to go, to score. It is the second time that LSU is going to play Texas A&M, and here was Will Wade on his coaching show talking about playing the Aggies for the second time.
All right, just turn the page and getting ready for A&M. It's the first time we've played somebody twice. We've obviously got to be better the second time than we were the first time because they're going to make adjustments and do a good job. But you know, we spent yesterday working on ourselves. There's some things we've got to get fixed and just got to get better at, and hopefully that'll show up on Tuesday night at A&M.
One more from Will Wade. He was asked, again, from that first meeting where LSU won by 23, and remember, Cam Thomas had 32 points in that game. Says what he hopes translates from that game against A&M at home to this one on the road at Reed Arena.
Well, we made shots. Hopefully that'll translate. We made some threes, which helped. Our spacing was pretty good. We could still improve a little bit with our spacing. You know, they're tough. They're a tough match. They're physical. They're big. They're going to challenge us on the glass. We did a decent job on the glass in this game, but it's going to be a big physical challenge for us. We've got to handle their pressure. Though we did a nice job not turning the ball over. They caused a ton of turnovers. We only turned the ball over 10 times in the first matchup. I think ultimately that helped us out the most.
Tigers are a 5-point road favorite over a bad A&M team. You got to go get this one, like we've talked about. When you look at what's ahead for LSU, you're on a 2-game skid. You have a very winnable game here. Saturday, you're at home in the SEC Big 12 Challenge against number 10 Texas Tech. You're going to be an underdog. Then you're at Alabama. You got to go to a place where you historically have not played well at Coleman Coliseum and play a team that just housed you. And then you're back home against Florida, a team that's already beaten you once this year. The schedule is not in your favor right now. You have got to win this game because if you don't, then you're potentially looking at a 6-game losing streak. And it is really hard to overcome a stretch like that when it comes tournament time. So go get this one tonight. 8 o'clock tip. You can hear it on our sister station, Eagle 98.1. All right, brought to you by South Point Volkswagen, southpointvw.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at southpointvw.com. Had someone ask me yesterday on Facebook Messenger, hey, man, how do you like your Atlas? My wife and I are thinking about getting one. Love it. Eric and I, we've driven Volkswagens exclusively since I started endorsing Volkswagen in 2010. Actually, I take that back. When Drew came along, we needed to get an SUV, and Volkswagen didn't have an SUV yet. So we drove a Yukon, and we liked the Yukon a lot. And when the Atlas came along, we traded in the Yukon and got an Atlas. And surprisingly, even though it's not on a truck chassis, so it doesn't sit as high like a truck does, or like the Yukon did, the dimensions are actually bigger. We have more interior space, more storage space in the Atlas than we did in our Yukon. Like, when we travel, we have room for all of our stuff. And it drives like a car. It feels awesome. It's got all the bells and whistles, panoramic sunroof, digital dash display, rear backup camera. I mean, the motion sensor on the turn. It's all the great German engineering without the cost. And they're manufactured right here in the USA at their Tennessee plant. If you're thinking about buying a new vehicle in your market for an SUV, check out the Volkswagen Atlas. It has redefined the family SUV. The Atlas from South Point Volkswagen. Airline just north of Highlander, southpointvw.com. South Point Volkswagen, what's your direction? All right, it is after further review. By the way, no one elected to baseball's Hall of Fame. Muse, what did I see? Is that the second time in 3 years that's happened now?
I saw that the last time it happened was 2013.
13. Okay, so second time in about a decade. I thought it was shorter than that. But Kurt Schilling was the closest. He got 71%. He had 75% of the vote to be elected. He got 71%. So Kurt Schilling came up short. Clemens Bonds came up short. Omar Vizquel was the other one who was even kind of in the mix for it. I think he ended up somewhere around 49%. I'm trying to look it up quickly here. Was there anyone else you can think off the top of your head that I'm leaving off here that was close?
Those are the four.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I hate that. Whatever. Major League Baseball.
It's a joke.
It really is. And I don't even think there should be a steroid wing, a PED wing. I don't care if you put it on their plaques. I mean, you're a Hall of Famer or you're not. Seasons change, eras change. I mean, what about guys in the teens that were using Vaseline on the ball, or Eddie Harris in Major League with Vagisil or whatever? Crisco right here, get some snot on the ball. Like, how is that any different? You're cheating. How is it any different? Whatever. All right. Better luck next year. All right, what are we betting on tonight? Gave you Scone Cold Lead Pipe Lock last night. It hit. Got another one for you. See what the Otter's betting on. That's next. It's AFR.
AFR.
Need to sell your home? Call Darren James and get your home sold. Call the realtor that sells more homes than anyone. Remember, working with Darren obligates you to nothing. This is the thing that I got to stress the most. If you hire Darren James, a lot of realtors, you hire the contract, you sign a 6-month deal or whatever it is, an exclusive, and let's say you're just not getting showings. You're not pleased with the results. Well, what do? Well, if Darren James is your realtor, you just fire him. There's a no-obligation guarantee when you work with Darren. Hire Darren James. If at any point you're not thrilled with the work he's doing, he'll let you out of the contract free and clear. No questions asked. But you won't, because nobody's better than Darren at compiling a list of prospective buyers looking for exactly what you're selling and getting your results. As a matter of fact, you could literally call Darren James today and say, Darren, here's my address, here's my home, here's the specs. How many buyers do you have lined up to buy my home? And he can literally give you a number. That's how detail-oriented he is. There's a reason he sells more homes than anyone. Call Darren James. Get your home sold.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
$14,000 off MSRP on a new 2020 Ford Expedition XLT. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. And with Bayou to You, free delivery right to your door. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
To the heroes who are working tirelessly to care for our communities, we thank you. We will never forget the countless hours you dedicated on the front lines, choosing to risk your own health to fight for our friends, neighbors, and family members.
I mean, you guys are out on the front lines fighting it.
We are grateful for your heroic acts and unwavering spirit. Together, we are overcoming this adversity and make our state healthier and more vibrant again. Ochsner Health.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact Service Master Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. Service Master Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.com.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right,
Otter Locks.
Down the stretch we come. Final segment here on a Tuesday edition of AFR, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. As we do every day about this time, we bring on Jimmy Ott for Otter Locks.
Otter Locks.
Yeah.
Otter Locks.
I don't know if we've changed it up on you, Muse. And now you bring up the music on it. Yeah, we might have changed that up since the last time you were here. Otter, how are you?
Ting, ting. What's going on, Matthew?
All right. How about it?
How about your team, the Detroit Pistons last night?
I gave you the Piston. Well, look, Otter.
Rocking chair. Huh?
I mean, when I tell you, when I'm throwing out a scone cold lead pipe lock, and understand, Otter, I know nothing about the Pistons or the 76ers. I just found an angle, Otter. I just found a freaking angle, and it hits all the time. So if I see it, hammer it. That's all I'm telling you, all right?
What's that angle?
I'm not telling you. I'm not telling anybody. I'm terrified. You know, what was the movie? Do you remember the movie? This is so obscure, there's no way you'll remember this. Do you remember the movie Three Ninjas?
No.
I know. God, this is so obscure. Anyway, Rob Schneider's in the movie, and he thinks he's got this superpower that if he says something, it happens. And then he goes, what if I lose this power? And he goes, oh, my God, did I lose it because I just said I lost it? Anyway, that's how I feel. I feel like I'm going to lose this power if I tell anybody.
Gotcha.
Where are you?
Mike Anderson's, baby.
Heck
it's
yeah.
oyster night over here. Yes, indeed. Half price raw oysters today till 9 p.m. at Mike Anderson.
I'll go see the Otter tonight over there. All right, we got LSU hoops tonight. You got to lean on this game?
Oh, man, offense versus defense.
Right.
You know, LSU is 10-4 to the overs. A&M is 11-2 to the unders. A&M, I mean, it's a rematch, a team where LSU, they killed them, but and A&M got blown out in the Pavilion in Oxford over the weekend. They did win at the Hump at State over there, but this is an offensively challenged team. Battle of tempos here, but I'm worried about LSU where they are right now, and I just don't know what kind of effort, what kind of performance. I mean, this is a psychologically bruised team right now. I would love LSU on a normal night, but this is staying far away from this one.
Okay. So what are you playing tonight?
All right, Auburn in Missouri tonight. In Auburn, okay. Auburn was 3-7 against the spread until their biggest recruit, according to Bruce Pearl, that he ever signed, was eligible, Sharif Cooper. Since then, they are 4-1 against the spread. Their only push is that 94-90 game against Red Hot Bama. Sharif Cooper in these 5 games is averaging 21 points and 9 assists. He had 10 assists at half. 10 assists at half in the South Carolina game. They routed them as a 2-point dog. 5 rebounds, 2 blocks at half, 9 points. He's averaging 21 and 9. The 9 assists per game. You know what? Of 357 Division I teams, 8.2 leads the country.
Okay.
He's averaging 9. He can dribble, penetrate at will. He's setting up his opponents. He shares the ball, and he can score from everywhere on the floor. This is a team where just the Ken Palm is 59. They're way better than 59 in this last 5-game stretch. He's a great, great player, and they're a different team, and they let him run the point. Get Auburn -2 against Missouri. He's coming off a big win. They did have a big win in Knoxville on Saturday, but Auburn -2.
All right. Hey, I'm looking at 2.5. Would you play 2.5?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
You got any other ones, or that's what you're sitting on tonight?
I got a couple other suggestions. We got lucky on the two last night. A couple of close ones. Yeah, a couple of close.
You got to hit the bell, Moose. So my bad. Moose is in for brain. When Otter gets it right, we hit the bell. There you go.
Memphis has not allowed 60 points in their last 5 games. SMU is leading the American in scoring. They play the first of 2 this home and home tonight in Memphis, a Thursday night in Dallas. But I think that Penny Hardaway, he's got a rotation going. Misa Suse, rim protector, man. That'd have been nice if LSU could have gotten him.
Right.
They're number 7 in the country in opponents' field goal percentage at 37%. I think Memphis got something going now after they routed their last 2 opponents by 20 and 27. Wichita State in East Carolina lean toward Memphis.
Okay.
And I think Georgia Tech is playing better. They blew out Clemson 83-65. They had a 9-point lead in the middle of the second half against top 10 Virginia before losing by 2. They easily covered the 9. Now they're going against the COVID crazy Sippy Coach K. Dukies are 5-5 straight up, 2-8, only 2-8 against the spread. Reputation line, give it a Jacket 6. I think the Jackets will win the game outright.
Wow.
At COVID crazy Cameron.
All right, Otter's giving you Auburn, Memphis, and Georgia Tech. All right, you want mine?
Yeah, come on.
I'm going to the league, the National Hockey League, Otter. And I'm giving you the St. Louis Blues tonight in Las Vegas, or they might be at home. I don't know. I don't really know. But the St. Louis Blues tonight against the Golden Knights.
What is their money line? What are they?
Well, it's like +1.5. So
okay, so you're taking the goal, the puck line.
I'll always take the puck line. Yeah, take the puck line.
Okay. Well, we got the small detail. Small detail.
All right.
St. Louis, hold on.
Jimmy,
Here they are.
+0.5.
-208.
It's
Played a big number +1.5.
I played at 1.5. There you go. All right, I gotta go. See ya. See you later. All right, see ya.
AFR.
We didn't even get to what we learned. Musa, what did you learn? GMFS Mortgage, by the way. What did you learn?
Daronte Jones kept an 8-foot boa in his office at Nichols.
Paulie, what did you learn?
Jimmer Fredette still plays basketball.
Yeah. I learned that, I think Matt Stafford should be the guy now. I think Sean Salisbury convinced me. And you know what? Hopefully I convince you every day to call GMFS Mortgage. Get in touch with a local loan officer from GMFS Mortgage. No matter where you are in the state of Louisiana. They have loan officers all over the state. Here in Baton Rouge, in New Orleans, up in Shreveport, Alec, Lake Charles, all points in between, every corner of the state. We are looking at historically low interest rates. I closed yesterday on my refinance. I went from a 3.85 on a home we bought 4 years ago, 3.85 to a 2.65. Y'all, saving $400 a month on my mortgage, shorten the life of my mortgage by about 5 years, skip 2 mortgage payments, change your life. GMFS Mortgage and GMFSmortgage.com.
Hey guys, this is Ryan Terrio with Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge, and you've got to come see us for the New Year's Certified Pre-Owned event. CPO vehicles come with an unlimited mileage warranty, and right now we're offering a 2-month payment credit up to $1,500, as well as 1.99% for 36 months on all eligible models. Check them out at mbobr.com or go see my guys Nick and Hess to take your new year up a gear. See dealer for complete details and exclusions. Qualified customers only. Subject credit approval by NBFS. Must take delivery by March 1st. 2021.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is